versus Olympia Heights. Very exciting game today. Iggy, what do you think about the matchup for Matter Academy today?
I think it'll be interesting for the matchup today. Both teams are relatively good in their own fields, so I think it'll be very interesting today.
All right, what lane are you rooting for? My personal favorite lane is jungle. I am a jungle main. What about you, Iggy?
For me, I am a bot lane specialist, so I love playing bot lane. My favorite role, even though we are glass cannons.
The AD rule never gets old. It's very exciting to see bot laners work together to 2v2. So that teamwork must be immaculate. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go over some terms that some of you people who are new here might not have heard. A big thing we're going to be saying is CS. CS stands for creep score. Iggy, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on creep score and why it's important?
So essentially, what creep? Thank you for asking me. But what creep score basically is that the amount of minions or something that you kill during the game. So CS is mainly about it. Did more mainly identifies how much gold that team will have at the time. So let's say I'm farming for minions, right, in bot lane. I'm gonna whatever I kill a minion, I'll gain one CS score, which means I have killed one minion, which means I have gained probably 21 to 18 to 15 gold at that time.
Okay.
But if it's let's say if it's a cannon minion, it'll count as two.
All right. And minions are very important because that gold is very good for scaling and is what you need to purchase items, and items are always better. So a big term we're going to be using is Rift and Baron. Those are special monsters that spawn into the game at certain points. Rift Herald, or we'll just call it Rift for short, is a big objective for the enemy jungler, and essentially what it does is it spawns a pickup once killed that will spawn the same monster you killed, Rift Herald, to go charge down, to charge down the lane and just do massive damage to any tower. And towers, of course, are the sole objective of the game is to get to the nexus. You have to get to the towers first, so it's a very powerful thing. And Dragon is the last one. Dragon spawns in. There are a total of 4 of them required for each team in order to get the Dragon Soul. The Dragon Soul is a big buff. Each dragon has its own buff and its own soul. So Dragon Soul is very important. We'll see if Matter Academy can keep those dragons.
Also, when you kill all 4, once you get the soul, there's a chance of getting Elder Dragon in the game. Which, if you gain that buff, it's very powerful because it essentially gives the team that gets it a power up that makes them be able to kill the enemies faster.
And I think we're on the champ select screen, so we'll get to that footage in a second.
But in the meantime, let's say how was last game, Samuel?
Last game, I was alone by myself. If you guys were there, welcome back. Welcome back. I know you're excited to see my face again. It was a very devastating game for Matter Academy. It was a 1-2 loss. They started off very strong in that first game, but they couldn't follow up that and keep that momentum, especially in top lane in those second and third games, as the Fiora, the enemy Fiora, just got extremely fed in both games and just ran down each lane, killing anybody there. There wasn't much you can do against that Fiora, especially with how fed she was. Hopefully, we'll have a game where no teams will have that big of a power advantage, because at a certain point it kind of just becomes unfair, doesn't it? Where
Yeah.
you're minding your own business and a Fiora just pops up and there's nothing you can do to stop her from killing you. Another big thing is Matter Academy's the jungle matchup for match 2 was very interesting. It was a mirror matchup, which is, I mean, it's not uncommon in terms of tournaments, especially if it's blind pick. But since it is blind pick, it happened, and it was 2 Amumus, which was interesting to say the least. Doubles a lot of CC in each team, so it's just a big CC battle who can get their Q first. In terms of the team that they played against, they did pretty well. They lost that first game, unfortunately, but they really came back with the other 2 games, ending with a total of, I believe.
For the second game, they ended off in a score of 20 to 12, 20. The Orange Seahawks got 20 kills in the end of the second game, and Matter Academy got 12 kills.
Yeah, so really big gap there in kills. Same happened with the third game. The third game had a very big gap in kills as well. Not very good because, as people kill in the game, they get gold based off that elimination, especially if they had a bounty on them. And champion gold is very good, especially to get those items up way faster. So let's talk about some meta. Yeah, so for this game specifically, red team is Matter Academy, and blue team is the Olympia Heights. So once we get into the game, you'll see each color, and just remember those colors. We'll be reminding you periodically if you forget, so don't worry too much about it.
But we would not be annoying with it because saying it too much might annoy the viewers a bit.
Yeah, yeah. So recently, patch 13.1b came out. That was a big patch. So
Especially for 80 carries.
and especially for junglers, a big shift in the jungle meta. As before it was assassins and early game gankers, now it's a little bit scaled towards the late game scalers. The assassin and early game gankers are still going to be very powerful, obviously, because of that power that they bring, but they're not as strong and as impressive. Now, personally, I main Fiddlesticks in the jungle, say what you want, but I always love the late game scaling play style that comes with it, so them giving a little bit more of leeway to the late game scalers is pretty exciting. So that was a big change. Another change was a lot of the nerfs and the ASOL rework. Do you think we're going to be seeing any ASOL this game?
Me personally, I think ASOL is in a pretty good spot with his rework. They definitely fleshed out the more of his character a bit, especially with his theme of a galactic space dragon, which honestly I'm happy with because one, they gave him a lot more CC potential, and the more you level up his abilities and what level you gain, the more powerful they become. So he definitely becomes a more late scale, like let's say stuff like Syndra and Veigar.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be seeing any ASOL this game. Maybe somebody on either team has decided to master ASOL, at least the new ASOL, but he's pretty powerful, especially with that scale. If you run like a full scaling team, ASOL will just infinitely scale into that. And his upgraded ultimate, his upgraded R, where he just calls in that big meteor and it has that shockwave, has very big team fight potential, because if like anybody's running away, they can't get away from that.
Also, it also shows enemies nearby, because remember once the meteor lands on the floor, it also spreads like little echo, like some sort of echolocator that gives true vision to anyone.
This ring just pops up, and then if you just get hit by it, it does pretty good damage, but it's really a threat for low health enemies like supports or the backline in general, who are trying to stay away from the fight and not get hit. They just get hit by that, and you're just able to go in on them because they're knocked up for a couple seconds.
Yeah, which is very oppressive, especially for stuff like 80 carries that don't really have the ability to begin with. And let's say the enemies all clump together, they're going to be taking massive damage from that.
Yeah, I think like spacing is probably going to be the biggest issue fighting a ASO, because you don't even know if he has his maxed out Arya. You're like, does he have it? Does he not have it? Should we even be team fighting this? Because if he just drops it down, like it's pretty much GG's for the team fight unless they have a lot of high health champions that they could just tank that and be like, that was nothing. But the fact that he can get it, he gets it multiple times, it does take a while to build up. And even then, his basic R is still very good because enemies hit in the center. It's essentially a skill shot. But if you just hit them in the center, it's pretty easy to catch them off guard.
Yeah.
It's just a knock up.
How about we talk about, let's say, jungle meta for a bit, because me personally, I think characters that are a really good spot right now is like stuff like Mordekaiser and Udyr that have been pretty dominant jungle meta for a pretty long time.
Yeah, because they're a pretty big late game scaling trap. Mordekaiser farm until level 6, and then you just gag any lane you want from there on. And Udyr just being able to clear those camps very fast. A big change that I personally was a little bit iffy about was the jungle minions or the jungle helpers can't do lethal damage to your camps anymore. So they'll just leave them at 1 health. Because the big thing about those little dudes following you was that you can just do 20, leave them at 50 health or 20 health, and they'll just finish off the monster while you're already walking to your next camp. So it's gonna increase those timers for clearing your the full clear.
Yeah, especially
way higher.
Especially for a character like, let's say, Lilia, another jungler that is a mage. Her main mechanic is all about her speed and momentum while farming for camps, and she's very movement reliant and kiting. But but that nerf really does affect her a lot, because let's say the poison damage from her passive does not kill them in time, and they're gonna be stuck on 1 HP, and you're already kiting to the next camp. So you have to time that. You have to have better timing on when to stay near the camp and when to walk away in order to gain momentum.
Yeah. Another big thing that it impacted was the assassins, who are just their main power, like Elise, is not clearing. So they're usually just there for the the 3 camp double buff. like romp, blue, and then immediately into red, that's going to take a little bit longer now. I mean, it's still a 3-camp clear into gank, so it's just not as fast as anymore. So you have a little bit more leeway as mid, because I used to hate playing mid and then have the enemy elite jungle 3-camp clears 2 minutes. They're already like right in front of on that bush, and I just can't do anything for that first like level 2 gank that they can pull off. A level 3 gank, it's very annoying.
Also, talking about Elise, actually, because right now Elise is actually a pretty good spot in jungle right now. She hasn't been in a good spot for a very long time.
Yeah, she recently came in. Another one was Evelyn. I was surprised to see Evelyn being played, like, you know, challenger and all that stuff. Evelyn has been like down in the dumps for ever since I started playing.
Also, another thing about Evelyn is that she's very oppressive even when she gets level 6. Because remember, she is invisible for the whole entire game now.
Yeah, so
until she does an ability or attack.
That camouflage is very annoying to deal with because normal wards don't ward against her. Now we're gonna get into the game in a couple seconds. They're gonna show us some stuff. We're gonna see the champions, and we're gonna get right into the action.
So I hope you all enjoy. Now, what we saw from Olympia Heights is that it seems they have a Malphite top.
Malphite top. That's pretty interesting. I haven't seen Malphite being played in the meta for a bit now. He's usually the only utility I think he brings towards like the later ends of the game is just his giant health pool and his R. Because, you know, you get that flash R in the entire enemy team, they're as good as dead in like a team fight.
Or if they don't expect it coming, definitely.
Exactly. So you could be very stealthy.
I mean, yeah, definitely, like, especially when he flashes R. It's definitely a very interesting scenario how they will utilize that type of mechanic, because you just flash and then you're right next to the enemy. They really, if you right in front of them, you are right in front of them. They can't really react to it unless they have a big IQ.
Pretty much. And I saw a Malphite jungle in there. I saw not Malphite, sorry, Maokai. That's interesting. Maokai has been just oppressive in the meta recently. Even with the nerfs, he's just still pretty good. I was actually watching, I think, Game 6 for Week 4 of the LCS, and one of their questions, or one of the based or misplaced that they answered was, Malphite is terrible now, but that's not true. Malphite is still very, very good. Just that point and click CS, or CC, sorry. You walk in, you just hit the E.
Also, another keyword that my host Samuel just said is CC. We haven't discussed that really much, right? You know?
Oh yeah. So
what CC means is the crowd control score. That means how many times you have done crowd control, like stunt, immobilize, or airborne during the game.
Yeah, crowd control is very big because if the enemy is knocked up or in any sort of crowd control, their actions are very, very limited. They can't really do much. They can't move. Certain times they can't use abilities in general. There are some abilities that are able to be used during CC, like Olaf R, things that can just get you out of there. There's an item called Quicksilver Sash that just gets rid of any CC on you.
Also, Trinmer ulti, because when he CC'd, he could still use his ultimate to stay alive for longer.
Yeah. So, like, your actions are very limited, and a CC is a very big, big thing in team fights because whoever has the most CC and whoever actually hits those CCs is usually the one that wins. Because if the enemy can't do anything, if the enemies can't do much or can't do anything in general, like they're pretty much as useless to the team. So the longer the CC, the better. That's why Morgana, people are probably sighing when they heard Morgana. Morgana support is just annoying to play against because she hits you with that Q. You gotta wait 5 years. You're aging already while you're waiting for that stun to come off. And at that point, if you're an enemy support in laning phase, the ADC probably has already killed you by the time that stun ends.
Also, another thing about CC is that what we already said about Olympia Heights team is that they have both a Malphite and a Maokai in their team, which is very interesting as a comp because it brings a lot of CC to the table because Maokai's R is essentially a big wave of trees heading towards a straight line, and if Matter Academy gets hit by that, then and their whole team is stuck. Then Malphite just has free range to just R into the enemy team and just get free CC off of that.
Yeah, they're just gonna chain that CC, and being chained CC is not fun for whoever is involved. It is very, very, very crappy to get hit with multiple CCs over and over again and pretty much not being able to play the game. A big thing too, now that we're talking about CC, is tenacity. Tenacity is the stat that got changed. For those of you who don't know what tenacity is, essentially it decreased the effect of certain CCs on your character depending on how much tenacity you had. Certain runes gave it. There's boots that give it to. Items give tenacity. And for a long time, it was pretty much this big counter to CC because, if it was a big CC comp and your character had almost, like no mobility and you couldn't get out of those CCs, it was better to run some tenacity so you wouldn't just be stuck there for the full duration and maybe just get away with your life. But they changed it. Now it's no longer stacking additively. What that means is that you no longer can just stack every single item that had tenacity together and just have a big tenacity pool. Now it stacks multiplicatively between each groups, and each group is a different items.
Yes.
So you no longer can just stack a bunch of tenacity and get away from that CC, which is a very controversial change because CC is a very big thing in this game.
Yeah.
Also,
another thing about the CC is that for AD carries that usually don't have a lot of mobility, like Jinx, Caitlyn, and also characters like Xayah, because Xayah doesn't really have a mobility. She has her R that keeps her away from attacks because she can't be hit or clicked on.
Yeah, but you want to use your R to get away from some simple CC. It's gonna be a big waste.
Unless if it's a very crucial CC that you have to avoid, and also remember her R allows you to throw her feathers. If you don't know about Xayah, is that she has a passive that launches feathers for her whenever she uses an ability. And the thing about that is that she also her W has that ability that whenever you activate it, she has a counter on the bottom of her life bar that shoots out feathers whenever she auto attacks.
Yeah, so that's a big thing too. You don't want to just but like I was saying, you don't want to use your R to get away from like a random Lux Q. That's just, it doesn't really matter too much. You want to actually use your R crucially because that's a big cooldown that you have to impose. And your R is actually very useful in team fights to get away from a lot of major damage, especially since ADCs are just glass cannons.
And also if they're grouped up, because if they're all grouped up, her feathers are going to hit multiple people, and then she will be able to use her E in order to potentially hit 3 feathers on everyone in order to CC them. Because whenever you hit 3 feathers on a enemy, you actually get to root them in place, which they can't move. So it gives your team a bit of a chance to go to try to go in and go for crucial targets. Let's say if that Eddie carries, or let's say there's that one mage that needs to be dealt with fast or not. They're just going to keep on doing consistent damage to you.
Yeah, just like Magar. Mages like Malzahar. Oh my god, Malzahar's a big he has what I call a just instant win button. His R is just a suppress that just sits you in place and suppresses you. You just can't move. I call it the timeout corner because if someone is being a nuisance to your team, you just press R on them and they're pretty much dead.
Also, that's another thing about another character called Veigar, because Veigar, the thing about him is that if he is able to land his R on someone, which is not really that hard to do, it's just a point and click ability. But the thing is, the most crucial part about it is that his passive, what each time you kill a minion with his Q, or if he kills an enemy through a takedown, or he gets an actual kill, he'll get 15 stacks of darkness, which that darkness scales up constantly throughout the game. And what that does is that it gives him more ability power, which allows him his abilities to do more damage.
Yeah,
because
so
he's a mage, he doesn't really rely on auto attack so much. He relies on his ability to do majority of the damage.
You know, and I'm seeing kind of a trend with like ASO and Vigor where there's just a lot of infinitely scaling mid lane mages. Is ASO a mage? ASO's a mage, correct?
ASO is a mage, yes.
So yeah, they're just usually those people very slow start and they're very bad early game, but towards the late game you're gonna wish that they weren't on the team.
Yeah, but that's also like, let's say, another thing about Orianna, because Orianna's not really a scaling champion, but she's more of a late game champion because she doesn't really have something that makes her scale, but in the sense that she becomes more powerful in the late game because of items that help her out. Because let's say stuff like Ludens or any of those major ability power items, it allows her to do more damage and help out the team because her R focus, because Orianna has this thing up with her that her passive is about this orb that floats around her, and she could give that orb to allies or give them more armor. But if you use another ability on the teammate that has the ball, you get to use any ability near him, near that person. So let's say if someone goes in, you could put the ball on someone and then R. That R will track the ball and essentially help out the person that has the ball on to suck enemies into him.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Orianna's another character that is just despised. Top lane meta has really just been stagnant for a bit now, honestly. I mean, it changed with the bruiser patch, and especially with the introduction of Cassante. Oh god, Cassante. What a horror. Oh my god. So much
for
CC.
Context, Cassante is a mixture of a skirmisher and a tank. What I mean by skirmisher is that he does a lot of damage when he goes, because think about Cassante is that he has his R, which is his ultimate, that he could use on someone and go into a different form completely, which will change his stats, essentially making him less tanky, but giving him more sustain and attack power, which allows him to do a lot more damage than a tank should be doing.
Yeah, so like people were confused because they're like, okay, you essentially released a new tank. He's a tank, but he can also 1v1 the ADC and win pretty much with the amount of damage he has. Because usually tanks, very healthy, like a lot of health, not so much damage. They're more focused on just having a bunch of health. They have good damage
and crowd control because crowd
control.
Because let's say in majority of games, right, a lot of games focus on tanks being this big, tanky, CC oriented guy. So soon we are going to be going to the game, Matter Academy versus Olympia Heights, and we hope you do enjoy this game because this will be interesting.
Yeah, good luck to both the teams that are playing out there, and let's see who wins.
Starting off the game, and if we do see, Olympia Heights do have an ASO, which I did predict it.
Wow, look at that. We were just talking about ASO. That is our favorite Celestial Space Dragon. Top lane, a Malphite versus Mordekaiser matchup, and it seems the trade is going a little bit towards the Mordekaiser. He still took some damage on the Malphite, and he just couldn't get that much damage on the just to remember guys, red team is Matter Academy, blue team is Olympia Heights. Right now the score is 5-2. That means Olympia Heights has gotten 5 kills and Matter Academy has gotten 2 kills, which is not a great start for Matter Academy, but they can come back from it. It's nothing too big. In terms of towers, they haven't gotten any towers yet. We're still pretty well into the other game. This dive is going crazy.
This dive. Oh, God.
Wow, look at that.
Ooh, unfortunately, Matter Academy did get a kill on... Mordekaiser did get a kill on Malphite, but unfortunately, Rek'Sai did come in while they were in the Shadow Realm, which did lead Rek'Sai getting the kill on the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, free kill for Rek'Sai there. Unfortunate for that Malphite. He's going to have a tough time top lane, as top lane is just one of those lanes where you mess up once and it can really set you back. Caitlyn Nautilus bot side for Matter Academy, a very aggressive lane bully as comp for bot lane. That's pretty good there. He's going to
flash Q
onto the Tristana, and they're just going to try to
and Zach comes in with the W. And they are able to get the kill on Maokai. Excellent job by Matter Academy.
That was a interesting play by that Maokai. He didn't need to flash either. I don't know why he did that.
I mean, most likely he did flash in order to save his flash W in order to save his ADC Tristana, because they were getting on the Tristana pretty hard.
Is that a worthy sacrifice? We'll find out yet. Right now, Mordekaiser is just bullying this Malphite into submission.
If you think about it, right now, the Tristana has 3-0. I mean, she has 3 kills without dying.
Yeah, she has that big bounty that nobody really wants to lose, especially to the enemy team. It's going to give them a big lead. So maybe saving the Tristana was the correct play, because therefore they wouldn't be able to get that bounty. They won't be able to scale as much. And letting a Caitlyn scale is a horrible idea, because she will just become a menace until the end of the game.
Also, we will also mention the fact that Matter Academy did get the Earth Drake, which does give bonus resistances and armor to Matter Academy as a whole.
Rek'Sai took the Rift. Olympia Heights is a really good Rift for them in this crucial time, especially when tower plating is up. Tower plating, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, is essentially this system in place for the first couple minutes of the game, where towers take less damage on average, but as soon as you break down each bar of those towers, it gives you additional gold. So you really want to start pushing towers this early, because that tower gold can make the difference between a win and a loss.
Speaking of towers, right now Olympia Heights' bot side is getting pretty good. A lot of platings from tower right now.
Yeah, Caitlyn showing up to trying to take him out of that tower. She doesn't want him to get too much tower gold and just trying to minimize her losses. This Malphite is playing a little bit on the safe side, as that Mordekaiser has just been pushing him in the entire time. A gank from Rek'Sai could really help top lane, especially, since if you're being pushed in that much by a Mordekaiser can R, but if he R's the Malphite and he doesn't kill the Malphite, it's pretty much wraps for that.
Oh wait, Olympia Heights going for a big play right now.
Ooh. Olympia Heights jumps. The Tristana jumps on the Caitlyn and gets the kill under tower. Lives. That's another kill for the Tristana. She is 4-0, ladies. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very good for Olympia Heights, and a little bit of a detriment to Matter Academy, because a really hyper-scaling ADC, 4 kills this early into the game is going to be very
Will Matter Academy get the kill on the ASO? They will, securing a kill for the set on the ASO.
Set mid lane is another play that we saw last time when when Matter Academy played versus when Matter Academy played last time. They had a set mid lane as well, and it was a very big or a kind of interesting matchup. Set mid lane is a viable choice. I mean, it's not a horrible choice, but it was just interesting to see that being played. Malphite gonna just walk up to the Mordekaiser and get hit by that Q.
Wait, there's a play going on mid lane. Olympia Heights is trying to get a kill set right now, right here and there, because he does not have anything to escape, and they will secure the kill with 3 people on the mid lane.
Yeah, Tristana came in a little bit late there. She left her lane to hopefully get that kill on the set. Now they're just gonna push in that tower, that bot lane duo. They already got first tower down around roughly 10 minutes, 8-5 right now. Olympia Heights with 8 and Matter Academy with 5 kills. 1 tower down in the whole game, and it goes to Olympia Heights. That first tower gold is pretty good too.
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense that Olympia Heights will be bot lane will be moved to mid now, because they've already done the first turn. There's not really much of a big reason to stay bot lane if you're not going to get much out of it. Yeah, especially for CS.
Right now, she's really hoping just to extend her lead to the other lanes, and maybe hopefully shape up that ASOL mid and get them to scale as well, so they can just have a better game.
Right now, but Matter Academy's top side is trying to look for this for the kill on Maokai, but it seems like they're not gonna be able to get anything off of it.
Yeah, that Malphite is just he has to play safe, because if he gets out of that tower, or out of that safe radius of those few meters after the tower, it's gonna be very, very bad for him, because that Maokai or that Mordekaiser will just pull him in and hit him with the Q and R, and it's over for that Malphite. So he's just trying to minimize his losses to lose as little CS as possible, trying to scale as well. The CS difference top right now is pretty big, with Mordekaiser having 83 and Maokai having 63. If you guys don't remember, that's pretty big, because that's gold.
Also, if you think about it, right now, the CS lead on both teams. So right now, Olympia Heights is on a CS lead of 3.5 thousand gold, which is pretty the huge thing for them, because they have almost on each player 300 gold lead.
Ooh, a big fight top lane as Mordekaiser R's the Malphite top. He's probably gonna secure this kill here. He has his passive proc. Malphite R's into him back, but I don't think it's It's in vain.
A big
right
play from mid lane. They're trying to get the kill on both Tristana and Maokai. They did get such a shutdown penalty on Tristana, which is pretty big. And Set does get a double kill from both bot laning on Olympia Heights. Though Caitlyn is away from the team.
Yeah, she got caught out and gets just destroyed by that Rek'Sai who was waiting in that bush for her. That was a very sneaky play. Top lane, you know, is going very smooth for that that Mordekaiser, as he is 2-2-0, but that Malphite's 1-2-1, not catching up very well as right now. The CS lead is just huge, 95-65. That is very big. Looking to get some. They're gonna group up for Dragon here. I think Matter Academy. That's probably their best bet.
Also, if you think about the level difference between two teams is actually pretty substantial. Also, because right now Mordekaiser has two level lead on Malphite, which is very big, especially for ultimates, because you get on level 6, 11, and 16, you get a ultimate ability point on all those levels.
Matter Academy gonna abandon Dragon and not fight the team fight for some reason. Maybe they were grouped up enough to have Mordekaiser and Malphite still top lane. So that means that Olympia Heights is gonna end up taking the Dragon. Interesting play by Matter Academy. You think giving up the Dragon was the right move there?
Yeah, definitely. Especially since all of Olympia Heights were already there except for Malphite.
And Dragon Soul happens to be Hextech. Hextech Soul, if you guys don't know what it does, essentially allows you to shoot lightning when you hit a basic attack or a spell on an enemy, and that lightning chains to different enemies as well. Tristana taking down that mid tower,
which also slows them.
Yeah, that slow is very, very annoying. I don't think that part should be in there, but it's very controversial whether that slow should be in there. This also changes the map, as it's gonna add those little Hextech gates. It's gonna allow both teams to get to and from their jungle very, very easily, and from one jungle to the other.
Especially to their buffs, like red buff and blue buff, because if you do not know, red buff essentially gives you more health regen when you're out of combat, and allows you to do more damage, while blue buff gives you more mana for characters that rely on mana, such as, let's say, Aurelion Sol, for example, as on screen right now.
Yeah, mages usually want to get that because their mana consumption is very big compared to other classes, especially some junglers don't even need mana. So there's no real reason to get that blue buff except for, you know, just having it and then that health regen as well.
Also, it's pretty big for some AD carries also. For example, like, let's say Jinx, because Jinx is a character that relies on
Nautilus running top lane, trying to stop that rift from being taken, but I think it's too late at this point.
Mordekaiser trying to stop him from getting rift curled.
Mordekaiser are gonna just jump in there and hope to get something. He's going after the Maokai. He's the weakest target, but I think
right now he has his R on him, and he does secure the kill. Will Matter Academy be able to win this team fight? Right now, Rek'Sai is pretty low, and Malphite does die. And Caitlyn does get the kill on Rek'Sai, which is shut down for 300 gold, which is pretty big,
especially for a Caitlyn who wants to scale. Ooh, Zach just jumping in on that Aurelion Sol, trying to get him out of there, but I think he's safe. He has the tower. They're gonna dive him under tower with the Q on the Nautilus. He's gonna keep taking those tower shots. He R's the Nautilus, and the Nautilus dies to the tower shot.
Oh, he does get dragged in. Will they keep on tower diving? No, they will not. Tristana did show up, unfortunately, so they won't be able to secure the kill on Aurelion Sol.
Instead taking big damage, it's gonna force a reset for, I think, top lane. Or actually, no, top lane is gonna stay and fight that Tristana for. Trying to get a good trade for him, but it's unfortunate. She takes away all those minions, and now they have to just reset. Well, the Aurelion Sol at least left with his life. That's pretty good, especially since he right now he is going 1-2-1, but he has 117 CS, a very big lead over the set. But the set has 4 kills and a 300 gold bounty. So you can see the in my opinion, champion kills will always be better than CS.
Yeah, so, especially since champion kills give 300 gold each, not also depending on shutdowns. Also, let's also bring up the fact of both teams' gold. Because right now, Matter Academy is bringing a big comeback to gold. Because right now they only have a 300 gold. They only have a 100 gold a deficit from Olympia Heights.
Yeah, which was way bigger before. So they're bringing it back here. Let's see. I knew that Matter Academy, kind of had it in them. It's 10-11. They actually brought it back in kills as well. And in towers, they're even on towers, but the big thing is just objectives now. You got to play the objectives. This is crucial part of mid game is trying to secure any lead you can, because usually mid lane or mid game is where everything becomes as close to even as it gets.
Especially in team fights, because team fights are where where specifically mid game happens.
Yeah, usually this volatility is just one big team fight happens, and whoever really wins is gonna have a easier time winning the game in general, because they're just gonna have if they extend that lead properly. I mean, big fight top lane here as Mordekaiser goes for the E, misses the E and the Q, just trying to get a trade on this Malphite, hitting him with Qs after Qs. Malphite just not taking any damage. He's a tank for a reason.
Also, let's also mention the fact that how many people have shutdown bounties on the enemy on Mad Academy's team. Because 3 people in total have shutdown bounties, with Mordekaiser having 300 and Set also on 300, while Zac only has 150. But he hasn't died at all, which is very surprising, especially for a character like Zac.
Well, yeah, Zac is playing pretty smart with his W's and his E's, just trying to get in there and help his team. Zac is a very, very good gank champion, so that's what he's doing correctly. They're grouping up for Dragon now. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Zac
is W into the fight. Wow. Oh, okay. So a lot of stuff. Oh, and Aso ulti getting the pick on Caitlyn. Will he get the kill on Zac? Yes, he will. And on Set.
A triple kill for Aso.
Rek'Sai
is just chasing down this Nautilus, but I think he gets away. He's gonna go in the tower.
No, he does not.
No, he does not get away with his life. So that is a big, big team fight.
Right now, Aso is fighting the Mordekaiser. Will he be able to get the kill? And yes, he will. Getting a 600 gold shutdown.
That is a very, very good shutdown gold bounty for Mordekaiser. That's gonna help him a lot. Right now, he's
big fight on the Rek'Sai. Oh.
And the Rek'Sai dies, unfortunately, or the Maokai gets the kill. Interesting, now it's going to be a free dragon for them. That's 2 dragons for Olympia Heights and 3 kills. That Aso really came in clutch there with that ult. Like we said, that spacing, it really messed them up, because as soon as they got hit with that ult, it just killed the Caitlyn and just skewed the team fight in their favor even more as it was already going.
Especially since for the fact that the Aso did get 3 kills that fight on 3 people, the Caitlyn, the Zac, and the Set, which both the Set and the Zac had shutdown bounties.
Sort of a failed rift there for Olympia Heights, but it doesn't matter because they got top lane turret down finally for Mad Academy.
This is gonna be very. Oh, and I just realized Rek'Sai is 6-2 right now.
Yeah, this jungler from Olympia Heights is actually doing very good. Rek'Sai is another character that you don't really see very often in the meta at all. It's very, very rare to see a Rek'Sai. I haven't seen them in a while since I've been playing, and it's maybe that's why Mad Academy is struggling against them, because Rek'Sai is not a character you usually try to learn how to counter. You rarely see them. They have a lot of mobility, especially with their tunnels, just being able to go from in and out their jungle extremely, extremely easy.
Also, he could utilize his tunnels to get out of spawn very quickly.
Big fight top lane again. Top lane has just been getting pushed in. This Malphite did secure the tower, so that Mordekaiser is in a very dangerous position to get the tower, because he has to extend way, way far with no tower to fall back on. He's very, very oppressive, or he can be oppressed very easily with just a simple gank. Another team fight here that Caitlyn is gonna end up dying to the Rek'Sai, just feeding that Rek'Sai even more power. 7-2 right now with a 300 gold bounty. That's pretty massive to go 7-2, especially when you're out CSing the jungler as well and getting them out kills. It's very bad for a jungler because it's gonna be extremely hard for that Zac to come up. But Zac has one thing that
Wait, big fight happening. Oh! Olympia Heights is getting a bunch of picks on Mad Academy. Will the Mordekaiser be able to recover from this? Oh, unfortunately, double kill for the Tristana on near Baron, and Baron did spawn since it is 20 minutes in the game.
For those of you guys who don't know, Baron buff is a very, very big buff in the game. It's one of pretty much the biggest buffs. Essentially, it empowers your minions, makes them just have more health, do more damage, which is very good because you can push lanes. It also gives you that empower recall and bonus AP, which is awesome for any team. It's gonna really help them take down those towers, especially since they're kind of out of tower. I mean, Olympia Heights has a very big tower, not a very big, just a small tower
lead by one turret.
Yeah, by one turret, which isn't big, but especially with that berry buff, they're just gonna be able to take down any tower they want.
Also,
Especially
let's
if they
not
group up.
mentioning the fact that now Olympia Heights is a big gold league on Matter Academy and kill lead. Now Olympia Heights is it has 20 kills, while Matter Academy only has a simple 13, and their gold lead is now 7,000.
Yeah, I think those two those failed team fights really put Matter Academy in a bad spot, as they just kept dying and dying, especially in feeding that Asol. The Asol's just every champion kill gives him more of his passive. And with his passive being able just to stack up forever and just giving him a bunch of power, it was a pretty big lead for Olympia Heights, especially since they got those two team fights. Now it's just objectives, and especially since they got Baron, it's just putting the gap in between, because Baron also gives you some gold too. Now the only thing that hasn't really changed is this Mordekaiser is just still way more powerful than this Malphite. The Malphite has to play very smart, because if he doesn't, he can just die pretty quickly. This Mordekaiser might be trying to bait the oh no, Asol comes up. Mordekaiser's gonna have to take this fight.
He's gonna have to look for oh, and he does die before he can activate the ulti because of the Malphite CC.
Yeah, and the Asol just hits him with the E, and his E does execute over a certain health threshold. So he just hit that E, and the Malphite hit him once, and it was just hit that threshold, and he just died immediately before he can actually do the animation.
Oh, interesting play from interesting play from the Maokai. He flashed onto the Caitlyn, securing the kill because of Tristana's burst.
Big Radiant Soul R again. You just saw that shockwave. That pretty much just doomed that Nautilus. I don't know if it was necessary to kill that Nautilus specifically, as it wasn't a really big team fight. Would you say that was a wasted ult for that Asol? I wouldn't know. I think it was, in my opinion. They still have Baron buff, so they can just still push lanes. That's what they're doing. They're pushing down mid lane. Set is trying to do something. Mordekaiser is gonna run in, but they're gonna take that tower anyways. Pretty bad for Matter Academy, as they're just being pushed in closer to the Nexus over and over again.
This is a very bad position for Matter Academy, especially now that Olympia Heights has a 10k gold lead and getting to their third drag, which now they have 2 Hextech dragons, which decreases their ability cooldowns.
Yeah, especially for somebody like Asol, who can that's just gonna increase the amount of spam ability you're gonna get from all those abilities. Very bad Malphite. A pretty big, really bad teleport for that Malphite, who teleported right onto the minion and then just gets immediately chased down by that Mordekaiser, who's just gonna kill him anyways and get that CS. Now Malphite has been having an interesting game. His teammates are scaling, but he's not scaling as hard as his enemy top laner. So I think what he's gonna have to do here is just try to roam around to different lanes and hopefully use that CC that he has just to support his teammates.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a big impact for Olympia Heights, especially for their team companies. It seems more that Olympia Heights' comp is more of a dive comp, if you think about it, with a bit of late game with the Radiant Soul, in order to secure that position of, even if they... Oh wait, big fight in mid lane right now. Oh,
Zach jumps in. He's gonna R just to get that CC, but Rek'Sai gets the kill on the Caitlyn. The ADC just falls down. They have very little health. Nautilus trying to get away from the damage. He's kind of failing here. He took a big chunk of damage, which is favorable for Olympia Heights. Right now, their scariest opponent is that Mordekaiser, especially if he gets that Maokai stats.
Mordekaiser is getting bad. Mordekaiser is surviving through all this burst that's happening. And Matter Academy will probably win this team fight and get a big lead.
Yeah, all that shutdown gold just goes straight to Matter Academy, closing that distance in the in the gold gap, but not by much. They still have a pretty big gold deficit when it comes to Olympia Heights because of those team fights that they kept losing. But that's gonna hopefully turn this game around, as they're gonna try to push down mid lane and get some towers back from them. Very good for Matter Academy. Very good play by Matter Academy in general.
Also, let's not also mention the fact that now at this point of the game, everyone has their mythic item. Everyone has a mythic item.
Trying to get that shutdown bounty on the Maokai and the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser ends up killing the Maokai, and the turret is destroyed by Set. That is a very big kill for Matter Academy. As now, since the enemy jungler is dead,
Okay, so now here's the thing about. Now I'm gonna go into a bit of team compositions right now. So right now, it seems like we have established that Olympia Heights is more of a dive comp with a mixture of a late scaling comp because of both Tristana and Aurelion Sol. Because Aurelion Sol is very good for the late game, especially with his burn damage, since he does have a Luden's Tempest.
Yeah, with their enemy jungler, they're probably able to get the Oh, and Baron has just spawned again, or is about to spawn in a couple of seconds. This is another big team fight point, as whoever gets Baron is probably gonna win the game here. On
Mad Academy is on Olympia Heights' blue side right now, while Jin and Aurelion Sol and Tristan are heading up there to the fight.
Aurelion Sol takes the blue buff and scare off that Zac, who's just trying to steal the Rek'Sai's camps. Now they're grouping up for a team fight here for Baron, it seems.
There are 4 members of Olympia Heights' team on Baron right now. While Mad Academy is a bit disorganized and not there, and they might get a solo. They might get a pick off of the Mordekaiser. Because 5 of the enemy team is trying to pick up that one Mordekaiser, which could be huge for a team fight.
He R's on the Malphite and she's trying to get that.
Zac is joining the fight at this point. With Set, but he does get CC'd by Malphite ulti. Aurelion Sol launching his ultimate. Will they be able to clean up this team fight and potentially go for Baron?
Yeah, that Mordekaiser is very powerful. He got that Malphite stats with that R, and it was just over for them. He just got so much stats. The Caitlyn hits the R, but it doesn't exactly kill him, as she's been slacking on the kill department. She's 2-8-1, and she doesn't have as many items as her teammates. Maybe they could have gotten the kill there, but it's enough for them. Not with that enemy jungler having to reset. They're gonna take that Baron buff. Yeah, right now I think Olympia Heights' biggest problem is that Mordekaiser, he's very powerful. I don't think anybody can stop him unless they all jump on him, and with no help from his teammates.
Rek'Sai does pick off the Nautilus right now. Will Rek'Sai go for a steal on Baron?
She's gonna burrow in,
and she does get the steal on Baron. That is huge for Olympia Heights.
She dies, but unfortunately it doesn't matter. She stole Baron. That is an insane play from Olympia Heights. Now they can turn this game around with everybody else having that buff and Mad Academy not. That's gonna dig Mad Academy a deeper hole that they've already been. Right now the score is 22 to 27, with Olympia Heights having 27 kills and Mad Academy having 22s.
Now the question is, since Rek'Sai is picked off, Rek'Sai is picked off, they will be able to establish this Drake for free, which is very good. Now Olympia Heights do not get soul from this drag. Now they have to wait for another drag to spawn in, which is very huge for denying them that free resource they can use for slows.
Yeah, now that their team fight ability is still going to be very high, because they have all those scalers and they have all that stuff, but it's not going to be as high as it would be with that Dragon Soul. So they're going to have to wait that out. But next team fight is going to cause a a lot of tension and a lot of like
chaos,
pressure to not mess up for Olympia Heights, because if they don't have that Dragon Soul, or if they don't get Dragon Soul, they're gonna have to wait another couple minutes, and by then the game will probably be over. And without Dragon Soul, team fights are gonna be kind of stagnant, even though it's just gonna be a lot of waiting for that Dragon Soul to pop up. They're grouping up again. This Maokai and this Rek'Sai, they're gonna just travel around together and hopefully get a gank here mid lane on their most dangerous target, I presume, which is the
Mordekaiser is very overextended right now. That he might get a pick on, then Olympia Heights might get a pick on this
Maokai misses the CC on that Mordekaiser because he was in that ult. His team is gonna come and help out, but they kill the Mordekaiser anyways. He does get the kill on the Malphite before he leaves. Just I feel almost sorry for this Malphite. He's been just getting killed by this Mordekaiser every team fight. His biggest thing is just his R, but he hasn't been able to get it off.
Set is doing big damage to the Aurelion Sol. Will they be able to pick him off? Ooh, unfortunately, it does not seem like it. They do get the W. The Set does get the W on them, but at that point, it's already too late. We're missing one player. They missed the Caitlyn, which could have provided some decent damage. Jelly might be trying to look for a tower dive on her.
Yeah, this is a pretty big tower fight setup here. They're just gonna run towards the Caitlyn, and there's not much she can do, especially with the Rek'Sai just on her. She's a very big glass cannon, so she can't take too much damage for long. her best bet is just to try to ward him off with her damage. But I don't think she's gonna be able to. This might be GG's here, Iggy. They're gonna try to take the tower. Rek'Sai tower dives the Caitlyn, doesn't get the kill though, but his Guardian Angel procs.
But Caitlyn does get the kill on Maokai. Will he be able to establish? Oh, that was a very smart play from Rek'Sai. He uses the Hextech Gate in order to gain temporary invincibility from anything that happens to him, which does avoid the Caitlyn R.
Mordekaiser flashes for the Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai's mobility is just way more powerful than his with those barrels. She's just able to keep going and just burrowing under the ground and just getting farther away from that Mordekaiser. That's a wasted flash from Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's just gonna push down lane. I mean, at this point, who can really stop him? They have to team fight again in order to stop him, and right now their support is down.
Right now, there's a lot of stuff happening in this game, and it's very intense. Even though Olympia Heights does have this gold lead, Mad Academy is trying to pick up a fight with them and are winning that, but pretty essentially.
Yeah, they might actually come back from this. There's hope still for Mad Academy, even though the score is 31-25 with Olympia Heights having 31 kills and Mad Academy having 25. They can bring this back, especially with like how the tower situation is with 4 and 6 towers. They can just run it down, like just rush down mid if they get a good team fight on their behalf and possibly end the game. Yeah. What they're going to have to rely on is they're going to have to play around their top laner, and they really can't be taking team fights without the Mordekaiser being there, because Mordekaiser is the only one that can probably shut down most of the team.
Yeah, definitely. Especially picking off someone, especially using the ulti to take someone out of the fight temporarily, which can be huge, especially if he's able to get to the Aurelian Soul. Because the thing about oh wait a minute.
Wow, Nautilus just caught out by the entire Olympia Heights team, gets R'd by the Maokai and just dies to the rest of the team. That's a very bad position there for that Nautilus. He's 0-9-9.
Especially to the Asol, since he does gain more, especially since he has the execute now.
With a pick on Mad Academy, they're just gonna push down bot lane. Another big team fight having here. Set is just gonna get.
They are looking at the tower dive on Set. Will he be able to get the kill for him?
He gets ignited and he's trying to go after the right side that dives.
At this point, they're just trying to run away from the Asol, so he's doing way too much damage, and unfortunately, they do die. Rek'Sai is tower diving the Caitlyn right now, but Rek'Sai, big meteor from Asol killing the Caitlyn in time before she could get to the fountain.
Yeah, now they just need to focus on that Mordekaiser. They're really the biggest threat right there. They're gonna kill the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser actually
he is taking a lot of damage right now. But they are ignoring the Asol, which is doing the majority of the damage. And unfortunately,
Asol gets the quadra kill, and that's GG's for Mad Academy with Olympia Heights winning. Final score 37-26. We didn't see any Dragon Soul gameplay, but it didn't matter because that Asol just, he just extended that lead and was just able to do a lot of damage without taking him out. It's probably the most crucial fight for Mad Academy, their most crucial thing that they could have done. And since he was kept alive, he really just dominated them as soon as they got into any team fight, because that damage from the unlimited breath that he has now is a lot. Now looking at the stat sheet, we can see a little bit more into the damage numbers behind the scenes for.
Right now, it does seem like in that game specifically, Mad Academy's Mordekaiser had a lot of damage on him, because he had a total of 44k, which is even more than Asol.
Yeah, that Asol was putting out damage, but most of his damage came from those executes and his E and just that breath. But Mordekaiser was just going in there. He was hitting just ability after ability, especially bullying that Malphite top. Malphite had a very bad game, but it seems like his team came in clutch in the end and ended up winning. So it was more of a situation where my team scales, but I don't. So it was an interesting game there. Now moving on to game 2. Still a chance for Mad Academy to win this, as they come back from losses like this before. Especially, just winning the first game doesn't mean they're gonna win. They're gonna win automatically. They can switch up their comp, hopefully be better prepared for the next one. And if they see an Asol, just try to kill him first, because that Asol was very, very oppressive. Newly buffed champs usually are, especially when they get reworked.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, second game, Matter Academy will be able to bring back a comeback because right now they have one loss deficit from to Olympia Heights. Which, if they lose one more game, they will be eliminated from this round.
Yeah, that Rek'Sai for what do you think about the Rek'Sai for Olympia Heights? He did really good. With that
Rek'Sai
Baron steal
was very impressive, especially since that means especially for gold lead for Olympia Heights because that could have established a big gold lead for them even more because now some of the teammates were alive at that time, so they gained the Baron buff, so they could have pushed the lane a bit. So they were able to push the lane a bit faster.
Yeah, they were just able to take down those towers, especially with Baron buff, and just the amount of damage that Tristana on a tower can do, or most ADCs on towers. But I think what Matter Academy could have done better was really focus out those mages and those people that were just doing a lot of damage. Because, yeah, the Malphite was an easy kill for the Mordekaiser, and the Mordekaiser would constantly R the Malphite to get the stats. But I think he should have R'd maybe somebody like Aesol or somebody like Tristana who was doing most of the damage. Because what I saw there was the Mordekaiser, he would run in, or he would go in with his team, which is good play. He would do his damage, but when he R'd, he would always R the Malphite for the guaranteed kill. Now, yeah, you're going to kill the Malphite, but the Malphite would die anyways. Usually what I would have done was just R maybe an ADC or a very big damage dealer so that by the time he got out, even if he died in his ult, the most of the team would have been dead because if their damage dealer is gone, then what can they really do? And in that case, that was the Aesol or the Tristana.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Matter Academy does lose that first round to Olympia Heights. But let's see if they are able to make a comeback because I do believe that they will be able to come out stronger and hit far harder. Because think about League of Legends that the game is not done until it's done. So there are many chances of making comebacks in the game.
Especially if you have a team full of late game champs. Early game might just be like horrendous, but as soon as you start scaling, the enemies are gonna feel it, and they're not gonna have the same lead anymore. So the big thing is just securing the lead first. If you can secure the lead first, it's fine. It's gonna be easier to kind of play them away from the lead because you can stop them from scaling. You can always do things to counter the late game champs. You can't really do anything, especially if you just let them go even. If you're even against a late game scaling team, it's gonna end up bad for you. Because they're going to scale, but you're not.
Yeah, especially since... I'll bring an example to Olympia Heights team. For example, their Aesol, their Aurelion Sol. The Aurelion Sol is a very late-game focused champion. Because he doesn't really do much in early game, so he can get dominated pretty well and be handled pretty well. But if you let him get to late game, you have to be extra careful with him, especially because of his true damage and his execute.
And also the amount of mobility he provides, especially with the more stacks he get, the farther he can fly with his W. So he's just able to go, roam down really quickly and just keep extending that lead to other lanes very, very easily. He's a very good roaming mid laner. He just does a bunch of damage. He's essentially an assassin and a mage almost in one because he has pretty much the mobility of an assassin, I would say. But the damage of just a mage.
Yeah, but his mobility is not really prevalent in his kit because the thing about Ace was that when he uses his ability while he's on his W, his W is very is slowed, so he can't move as fast while in his W. But the thing about his W is that he can go through walls with it. So I do understand why you say about he's sort of a mix of an assassin while also being a mage because of that unique property that he has of his mobility. But it's very limited on what he himself can do with it.
Well, I think it's only limited by the creativity you have with it because you can use it for multiple purposes other than just moving. Yeah, if you use an ability on it, you're gonna be slowed. But if you use it just for the flight in general and don't use any abilities, you'll see you actually go pretty fast. And you can also being able to go over walls. You're kind of like a melee talent. If somebody's trying to flash away from you and they flash over the wall, you can just W a little bit farther ahead of where you think they flashed, or flashed towards, and you could just go for the chase, and just keep using that breath on them while they're running away, and they're just gonna die. It's pretty it's just you gotta be smart with the flight plays. That's what I think Aesol's just strength comes from is you have unlimited scaling for your abilities. That means unlimited opportunities to use them. His E executes, and the execute range gets bigger. His that breath is just impressive. You can just spam it pretty much, just hold it down in a team fight. You don't have to just hold down one button and then just their health bar just slowly depletes with that pulse damage.
Yeah, definitely. Also, another thing, so especially with how the game went for Matter Academy, their bot laner, which was the Caitlyn, did not really do that well. Wasn't bringing out that much damage. Because it sort of makes sense because Caitlyn, if you think about it, is more of a early game champion because she can do damage in the late game, but she is very reliant on her team in order to provide some CC for her so she can place down her traps, which how her traps work is that if someone steps on them, they will get rooted in place, and allowing her to do unlock a passive called Headshot, which gives her extended range on her auto attack, which can be very big for Caitlyn's damage, especially for combos. But she has to make someone step on that trap, or not. That is completely useless.
Let's get, being able to see the champs here. It seems that Matter Academy has picked Elawi top. That's another pick. Elawi is very, very impressive. That was Olympia that picked Elawi top. Elawi top is very impressive. If you guys don't know, she's kind of probably one of the most annoying people I would say to play against, because if she hits you with that E, oh my God, the amount of pain that just goes through you when she hits you with that E, and you just get your soul pulled and you're just getting damaged while running away for free. Alkali is another one. Alkali recently got nerfed. Right?
Yeah, Akali recently got nerfed with her damage, but she is still pretty good in the right hands, because the thing about Akali is that she is a character that is very that she focuses on mechanics and a person to use her properly in order to execute her combos and do max amount of damage.
And they have a Kane jungle for Matter Academy. Kane is another late game scaling champ because he has, if you guys don't know, Kane has two forms: his shadow form and his red form. Which I would think red form used to be, the meta. Everybody went red form because of the amount of healing and damage you did. But now shadow form got buffed, and people have been using shadow form a lot more. He's just becoming more of an assassin character, just going through a wall and just doing a bunch of damage and killing the person because of that first strike damage.
Also, Kane is actually pretty flexible in a team when you have him, because he could fit either role of an assassin or a bruiser, like you said. So he could either be a second tank or another DPS that you can rely on. Especially since his E has the property that he is allowed to go through walls, which he could catch out enemies pretty easily with. Especially since when he's in shadow form, his shadow assassin form, which is blue, he does extra true damage when no one sees him for a bit, or when he comes out.
And we see a set mid lane again from Matter Academy, a very interesting pick to go twice in a row. Do you think the enemy is expecting set pick? Do you think Olympia Heights is expecting another set mid game?
I mean, if they do their research, most likely, because majority of the time we do see Matter Academy's mid laner choosing set majority of the time, which maybe is because it's a comfort pit for that set. Maybe he's more comfortable choosing the set than any other character in the roster.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think in this scenario you have to be a little bit more flexible, because if they just expect that set to go mid multiple times and not go top, they're just gonna be like, oh, we can just pick the set mid, and he's gonna pick set anyways.
Also, another thing is that on Olympia Heights' team, they also have a combination in bot lane of Jhin and Karma, which, oh boy, if none of you play League of Legends at home, Karma is a support that is very early game reliant, because she does a lot of poke damage, what poke damage means that slowly chipping away on your health while in laning phase or in a fight.
Yeah, while she stays safe away from any damage you can give her, so just keep, kind of poking them with damage over and over until they get low enough, and you can just kind of all in. Especially with Jhin, who's able to stun them just right after they get hit with that damage with his W. Jhin is very impressive bot lane. Especially a good Jhin is very, very hard to play against, because they will just you really can't push up on Jhin.
Especially since the combo in bot lane is Jhin Karma, and the unique thing about Jhin is that when someone gets hit on the enemy team when there's Jhin in the game, he's able to use his W on someone, which allows him to root someone if he has precision, if he's allowed to hit his W on someone.
Yeah, because it can be blocked by minions, and it can be blocked by other people. Do you think that Varus Lux is a good?
It cannot be blocked by minions, because even if it shoots a minion, it'll still go through, and it only stops if it hits a champion.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Do you think that Varus Lux is a good counter, or like, is there any? You think there's any counterplay in there for Jin Karma, or do you think that the Jin Karma is just going to be a little bit too oppressive?
I mean, definitely for Lux Varus, there's a lot of stuff that they're able to do in lane. For example, Lux is also a very poke reliant champion that she doesn't really concentrate on burst unless she has her ultimate, which you can use your Q in order to root someone, and then do your full combo from there by launching your E, which is a big AoE circle that does a lot of magic damage to someone while also using her R at the same time, because she's able to cast those abilities at the same time.
Yeah, Lux is a very like oppressive CC champ. She's one of the biggest ones because that Lux Q is very easy to hit because it if it hits a minion, it's still gonna go past the minion. So you get to use it just to like extend that range, and there's a lot of not, I wouldn't say mechanical skill, but a lot of like things you can do with Lux that people know. Those little hidden things is kind of annoying. Jax top versus an Alawi. Do you think I mean, Jax has his W, which essentially allows him just to ignore damage taken to him for a couple of seconds, and actually even jump on a target and just do that big AoE like hit that just does a bunch of damage. So
and also allows him to stun if he deactivates the ability.
Yeah, I think the name of the game for the top laner, at least on Matter Academy side, is just dodge the E's. That's the only. That's one
Dodge
of the
E's and try not to get poked.
Yeah, one of the biggest counterplays versus Alawi is just if you dodge the E, you win. If you don't dodge the E, you lose.
Also, another thing is we forgot to mention Varus in the bot lane with the combination of Lux, because think about Varus, that he is also I wouldn't say he's poke reliant, but he is able to bring out poke in the bot lane also, which allows him to get a bit more damage from safe distances, especially with his passive that whenever he hits someone with an auto attack, or he puts a mark on them, and if Varus lands an ability on them, let's say his Q, which launches an arrow when he launches arrow from his big bow, it does a lot of magic and physical damage, especially depending on how many stacks that person has. And also, we're also not counting his ultimate, which his ultimate it allows him to root someone in place, and if there's anyone around him, they will slowly get rooted also, because there's like a thing that sprouts out from that target, which also applies full stacks on that enemy.
And the thing that people have to watch out for is the Caitlyn jungle, or Evelyn jungle. We were speaking about Evelyn in the beginning of the stream. I don't know if anybody missed it, but we were talking about how the jungle changes kind of nerfed some of the early game jungle champs, where they would just immediately gank mid after like their first like three like level 3 clear mid, and then just get the kill. Evelyn's one of those champions that was like, she was like the head of the game once those buffs came out to assassins and early game champs. Now, do you think that she's as good as she was before? Or do you think she's gonna be a little bit worse?
I say, in my opinion, she'll be a bit better, even though assassins got nerfed. The late game for jungler, late game is, because the thing about Evelyn is that she doesn't rely on early game whatsoever. She is late game all the way, because how her passive works is that she has to reach level 6 in order to even do anything because in order to gank. The thing about Evelyn is that she doesn't gain invisibility, because her passive gives her invisibility and healing when she has a passive up. But the thing is that when she reaches level 6, she is able to go invisible or camouflage, which the only counterplay to that camouflage is control wards, which gives them true sight.
Yeah, so the warding is going to be pretty big on Matter Academy side. They're gonna have to try to counter that Evelyn, because if not, then she's just gonna be able to sneak up behind them without them noticing and just get a free kill. Now, heading into the game, we already see that one kill has already been taken by Matter Academy. They have taken one kill, and that kill belongs to the set mid lane. Oh, look at that! Set mid lane actually worked off in the early game there and just took that Alkali.
Yeah, definitely because I say a set in this type of matchup with Akali is very early game focused, because if you allow the Akali to get one kill on you, there's a bit of a snowball effect with the Akali, that even if the Akali's behind a bit, they'll still be able to get a lot. The Akali will still be able to get a lot of stuff done, even though even though Set is more of a bruiser-based character, so he's supposed to be a bit more tanky during the fight.
Jax jumping on the Alawi with the early game lead that he has in terms of his power, just trying to, get that Alawi away from her. He dodges the E, which if you paid attention to what I was saying was a pretty big thing for him. He's gonna flash W onto him and get the kill on the Jax, I believe, or on the Alawi. The Alawi actually escapes into her tower and is gonna reset. Oh, that's very bad for Jax because he just wasted that flash pretty much for no reason.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm gonna. There's one thing that you said about the Jax at being a good early game character. Oh wait, big stuff happening in mid right now. The Set R'd onto the Akali, bringing her to tower, but she did flash out of tower range in order to avoid some of the damage. But unfortunately, Akali did R also in order to try to get true damage on the Set, which did fail for her since no one got the kill in the end, which is both good and bad because right now Akali's on on a bit of HP right now. So if Set did get the ignite on Akali, which will get the kill for him, which is very big.
Yeah, the Akali messed up. She went into that that range of the ignite and just got ignited. She just kind of accepted defeat and stood still. There was nothing she can do.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting misplay by the Akali.
Which does bring Set to a bit of a bigger lead for him.
Yeah, he's now 2-0 with a he doesn't have a CS. He has a CS lead, but not by much. It's 39-42.
Right now, Olympia Heights and Matt Academy are trying to look for something at this dragon pit, at this drag fight.
Agreeing for drag fight. Karma's just trying to get poke damage. She hits the she flashes on.
This might be big for Olympia Heights. Did Matt Academy not expect the whole entire enemy team to be there?
Yeah,
that getting the kill on the Lux.
The Karma flashes on the Lux, and just Lux gets caught out. But she gets the Karma gets killed by the Varus, which is doing a lot of damage, and it's gonna ward away that Jhin, and maybe even get a kill on that Evelynn. Evelynn's gonna get away, and Alawi is gonna start the dragon fight because she can actually tank the fight too. She's gonna get rid of that ward so they can't see what's going on, and hopefully they're gonna take dragon. That's good for Matt Academy considering that they have no dragons.
Yeah, this is the first dragon of the game, and it is Ocean Drake, which is pretty substantial in the early game because it allows them to gain health back when they are not. Oh, and Matt Academy does steal the Ocean Drake, which is big for them, but they do give a kill to the Evelynn, which could be a problem.
Yeah, bit of a change here. Matt Academy is blue team now, and red team is Olympia Heights. Kind of a change. It might have confused some of us, including me. Jax does get away with his life from that trade top lane, but and Akali can just keep going. I think what they did was that they switched lanes, Akali and Alawi. Might be a better matchup for both actually to go against the Set for Alawi and against the Jax for Akali. Speaking of that, Jax is gonna jump onto the Akali, but doesn't matter as Akali just gets the kill. Anyway, Set's gonna try to chase her, but she knows better. She's gonna back up into tower range, maybe try to get some hits here.
Set does use his flash during that fight, which is a big disadvantage for him.
And a thumbs up from the Akali and some emote spam. Kind of putting the stereotype in Akali players being a little bit more toxic.
Not really a stereotype, but more of a more community-based thing about Akalis and their sort of scene in League of Legends. Alawi is getting tower planes from mid, which does give her a lot of gold. Well, 175, which could lead to an item of sorts.
Set R's the Akali. She's shrouded, unfortunately. She's trying to continue going forward. She's gonna hit him with the E, try to get away from Set. I think Set wins this one. He's gonna Q rush towards her.
He does ignite,
hit her with
which
the ignite
will
again. Akali just getting hit with the ignite over and over again. She just kind of just accepts defeat. I guess that thumbs up was for nothing. On that Set, he flashed, but it doesn't matter.
Matt Academy on bot side, it did get the root on Karma and does get the kill. Unfortunately, Varus does miss the R on Jhin, which could have gotten them a kill. Also, leading to double kill for Varus, which could have been a big lead for him.
Jack's just farming that tower gold in that minion CS mid. He's actually putting up a good fight against the Akali in CS. Now he's going against the Alawi. 62-58 CS, not horrible, but it's still a lead for the Alawi. She's gonna try to preserve.
Right now, Matt Academy on the top side gets another tower plating, which does give him more gold, potentially lead him to more of a lead. Right now, much is not going on. So how about we go to the gold differential and kills in both teams. So right now, Matter Academy has 5 kills to 3 from Olympia Heights, which is pretty substantial to think about because of gold. Right now, big plays happening in top side where they're trying to kill the Akali, but seem to fall short on it. Akali does do a smart play here. So she activated her R early so that she's able to go on to, so she's able to reactivate it, which does a big dash. But the thing about what she did is that Kane R allows him to go inside of someone, which makes him stuck onto someone. But what Akali decides to do is R towards the tower so that he cannot do anything about it, and he dies.
So yeah, he got out and he just got hit by that tower shot, and the Akali just finished up the kill. Very interesting play by that Kane. I think he was thinking that maybe the Jax was gonna help, like, you know, dive under tower, and they were gonna come out, and he would have not taken all the tower shots and maybe lived. So that,
but
that might have been what was going through his head.
Unfortunately, Jax does not have that type of mobility with him because Akali has much farther range when it comes to the
dash compared to the Jax's W.
Alright, big fight. The Matter Academy is trying to get a play on bot side right now, trying to see if they can secure a kill. They did! They do on the Karma.
For the kill on the Karma. The Karma is getting caught out multiple times. She did catch out that Lux that one time, but it seems to be going downhill from there for her. Akali's going to walk up to the Jax and just hit him with multiple abilities and the combo. Flashes for the Q and hits the Q and kills her. Varus escaping or Lux escaping the Jinx R.
Evelyn does get the shutdown on Varus, giving her a pretty good lead. Especially since she hasn't died yet. That's her first kill.
Yeah, Evelyn getting that kill right there is pretty good too. She's scaling right now. She's still at 75 CS, 102, which is not a horrible score. She doesn't have any deaths. She's more of doing her job, which is going in Viz and just walking around and getting kills.
Especially because she's an assassin, so yeah. she has to get kills in the early game unless she's gonna fall behind.
Ooh, Jack's taking a controversial point, just gonna jump onto the Alawi. The Alawi R's for that big tentacle damage and just does a bunch of damage. But without the Alawi R, I think he can win the fight.
Kane does get rooted by a Jin, and they are able to establish a kill onto Kane.
He gets unfortunately charmed there by the Evelyn. The big thing about her kid is that charm. Got hit with that charm. He just started walking back towards them, and there was nothing he can do.
Matter Academy are able to essentially kill on the Evelyn, but they do get a pick on both the Varus and the Set, which is very much unfortunate for Matter Academy. Right now, Matter Academy is falling on short with kills, and now Olympia Heights has a kill lead on Matter Academy.
Yeah, very big difference from when this game started.
Oh wait, Jax does get the kill on Alawi, nullifying the effect of gold lead for them. Right now, that's Jax's first kill of the game, so that is very important for him since he is more focused on late game than anything else. Right now, everyone's trying to get her blue buff, which does restore a lot of her mana, which is very big to think about because Evelyn does consume a lot of mana while she is in the jungle. So blue buff for her is very much of a big resource in order to keep the mana pool healthy.
Yeah, right now the game kind of turned around from where it was in the beginning. Matter Academy had that big lead over Olympia. Now it seems that Olympia is making their way back. They do have Dragon whatsoever. They have a Ocean Soul, which gives them a little bit more healing.
Kane does die to Akali at mid. Now the Akali is 6-3, giving her a big lead.
And Varus gets hit by, or Jin gets hit by that Lux Q and just gets stunned. Lux isn't going to make it out of her way alive. That Evelyn is just going to do a bunch of damage. And that Varus is next on the Evelyn's list. She hits the R and kills him right there and backs up. She is alive now.
And getting the execute, which If you do not know, Evelyn has a special mechanic with her R is that with if the enemy that is super on low on health reaches a certain health pool, certain X will show up on them, and that will indicate that Evelyn is it does have enough damage in order has low enough health pool in order to just downright kill the enemy.
Yeah, without any retaliation from this, she was able to execute, and now she's gonna be able to get that dragon, which is gonna put them even on dragons, but not even on kills, as it is 8 to 12. Lux tried to take the dragon with the R, but it doesn't work out. She only gets some minor damage.
Jax is getting on the Alawi right now, trying to secure this kill. Will he get it in the end?
Alawi hits the R and almost out healed his damage, but he was able to get that damage with his R and just kill her. That was a very interesting trade. That could have gone either way right there, I think. If it was a slight misplay from the Jax, would have just killed him, because that Alawi R does a lot of damage and heals her for quite a bit.
Right now what we see in the game is that Kane hasn't gotten any form yet, which is a very big thing for him, because the thing is his forms do he's not really a character in the early game until he gets form. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to hit any, because how his passive works is that whenever he hits a melee-based champion, he will gain red form stacks, which will make him which will get him a bit closer to red form. But if he hits a blue, a far range auto attacking based champ, he will get more stacks for Blue King. Now he is attacking the Karma with Jax, but unfortunately they won't get anything here.
Yeah, he wasted
Alawi is here.
He wasted a lot of
but
Jax jumps right back
coming in from the bottom side of the map.
He R's the Karma, or the Alawi to get the kill on the Alawi. Karma is gonna escape, but they could set up a tower dive here as Alkali is coming up from their jungle, and so is Evelyn, but Evelyn's invisible. She just left the invisibility. Jax is jumping on her.
She is stunned, so they might be able to secure a kill here, but they do leave free range for Kali to just do free damage.
Yeah, and she R's away and actually comes back to get one kill on the, or actually one assist. Now Akali's just gonna go after the set. The set's pretty much.
Because can set turns around. Unfortunately, he cannot. Giving the Akali 3 kills. Well, Akali 2 kills and Evelyn 1. Akali 2 kills and Evelyn 1 kill.
Yeah, that fight looked like it started out very good for Matter Academy, as they had, like, the health lead and everything. But as soon as the Akali and that Evelyn showed up to help, it was just over. They may have gotten that 1 kill, but it ended up costing them a lot more. The score right now is 10 to 15. With both teams having a dragon, Matter Academy does have Ocean Dragon, and Olympia has, what, Chemtech?
They do have Chemtech, which does give, what Chemtech does is that it does give them more, it gives them more damage the lower health they are.
That's the soul. Yeah, the soul gives them a lot more health and tenacity. A lot more damage and tenacity the lower the health is.
Akali trying to go for a big play here, trying to tower dive the Varus, but the Varus is able to hit the R, which does root the Akali, allowing them to get the kill on her, which does give them a pretty big shutdown bounty for the Varus, which that is pretty big for the Varus, because the thing about Varus is that he is a very hyper scaling champion. So
I think he had to use healer to actually escape from that tower dive. And he also stunned the Alkali right on the tower, so those tower stats were just eating away her health. She is an assassin. She doesn't have a big health pool. She can't, dive a tower as well as Set can with his ult.
Well, the thing about Akali is that she does have a relatively big health pool for her role. But the thing is that
it's still an assassin health pool, so it's, even though it's a very, very big health pool, it's not as big as, let's say, like a tanks or a bruisers.
Especially if it comes to armor, because they don't really focus on assassins don't really focus on armor that much. They focus on raw damage. So right now, what Matter Academy is trying to focus on is trying to get towers, because right now they have a big tower deficit. Well, not really big, but they are missing a couple of. They are missing about a bunch of damage on them. And big plays from Olympia Heights. They are able to get, Akali is able to get a double kill on both the Varus and Lux, which is the target that she is usually looking for, since they are squishy targets, and that's the main priority of assassins to go for, squishy health targets.
Kane going in on this Varus.
Is getting the CC on the Jhin.
He's gonna go in on the Jhin and actually get the. No, he's actually not gonna get the kill. He gets stunned and chain CC'd by both the bot lane duo. He's having a very tough matchup right now, since he did go Red Kane, it seems. trying to get that health and essentially be a second tank, as they really don't have a tank, because Set is more of a bruiser than a tank. So having that double tank and just leaving the damage to the assassins and the ADCs is a good play by that Kayn.
But yet again, they do already have 2 bruisers on their team, which is the Set and the Jax. So I don't think it was a very good play for him to go red form, since I think they could have relied more on that big burst that Olympia Heights is getting, did get a pick on the Lux, and probably looking for a kill on the Varus, but the Kayn is trying his best not for that to happen. But Akali does use her R through both of them and doing a bunch of true damage.
Yeah, that was just insane play by that Akali. She just went in there and she just wham wham killed both of them with the assassinate. Very, very big for the Alkali, just being able to.
This is a big play from Evelyn, because she is using her little partner, jungle partner, to its maximum, since she has the blue fox, which allows her to move faster whenever she goes through a bush, which can lead to a lot of scenarios where you could just exit a fight outright.
Yeah, just outplay your opponent by essentially breaking their ankles and using vision and using their lack of vision to your advantage by hiding in a bush or going super fast in a bush and just taking ways that they wouldn't think you would normally take.
And also, speaking of that, speaking of jungle companions, there are 3 different types, but we will get to that later, since Mad Academy does get the dragon, but is that really worth it? Because the Olympia Heights is probably gonna get 2 kills from this fight.
King gets exhausted and hit with a lot of debuffs as Evelyn's just chasing after him.
But Lux is trying her best to keep the Kayn safe and allowing him to escape. But Akali is trying to block him off.
Akali
and getting the kill on the Lux.
Jhin ults to try to get that slow down that Kayn, but it doesn't work as Akali just takes a bunch of tower shots. She has to retreat from there. Kayn actually leaves. That was pretty good peel from that Lux, but unfortunately she got cut out by the Akali, which is just a insane amount of damage at this point.
Especially when it comes to her E, because whenever she hits a target with her E and she reactivates it, it does a bunch of burst damage.
I think the strategy that the Kayn was going red form was just to play for himself almost a little bit, like be a little bit more selfish, because right now their biggest threats can just kill squishies very easily. So I think if he went blue form, it would have just ended up with him being shut down a lot easier. At least with red Kayn, he's able to just, live a little bit longer and have all that healing. Right now, the score is 13-24, with Matter Academy having 13 kills and 2 dragons, and Olympia Heights having 24 kills and 1 dragon.
And unfortunately, one of those kills did happen and picking off the Varus, which was a pretty big play for Olympia Heights, which because the Varus is right now seem like that's their only consistent form of damage aside from this Set.
They killed the Jax. Olympia Heights kills the Matter Academy's Jax.
Karma is using her R in order to give the Olympia Heights a big speed boost towards the enemy and trying to pick off anyone on their sights. Oh, Jhin did die to Olympia Heights, not to Matter Academy's tower, because of the risk of tower diving.
Now I want to point something out here for our viewers. If you look towards the bottom, we have the scoreboard. The Alkali on the enemy team, or on Olympia's team. Can you read out that score for me?
Right now, that score for the Akali is 15-4. That means she has gotten 15 kills, which is over half of Olympia Heights' total kills, and only has died 4 times, which is very impressive. But it does seem logical, since Akali is assassin, since she is able to just get into fights and get out in order to get back her cooldowns.
Yeah, that is very big with her having that much gold, just champion kills. She's almost able to take out everybody, almost anybody in the game. Just look at that.
Now Mad Academy is trying to hunt her down at this point. Trying to get that shutdown bounty, but unfortunately she has so many escapes. But she does get picked up by the Jax, which is very big for the Jax.
But I don't think it was worth it, considering they just sacrificed almost two of their members.
Now, Mad Academy might be able to get through 4 kills here.
Maybe even a team kill, as well, actually no, the Jhin, he leaves and he
will
try to get the Jax, but they're body blocking for him. Such good teammates there. making sure that Jax doesn't die. They're gonna go take Baron now, which is a nice logical step with their biggest threat, with being Alkali, just down for the count for a couple of seconds.
And their jungler Evelyn, which will not allow them to get a steal from Baron.
Their only hope now is that the Jhin can steal it, but he doesn't. Matter Academy does end up getting the Baron buff. That's going to be good for them. Hopefully bring them back towards the lead, because their gold lead is actually, it's being patched up. It wasn't as much as it is before. Now it's more of kills. They don't have a lot of kills, and especially with a really, really fed Akali on the team, they have to play it safe, because she can just come from anywhere and just take out a good chunk of their team.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since two of Matter Academy's team are very squishy targets, which Akali can just burst down in a matter of seconds.
It's proven by the fact that if you look at the score, the two bruisers have, more kills and less deaths, considering they have those bounties. But those squishy targets, other than Kayn, just they don't have any bounties, and they've been doing a little, significantly worse than, let's say, the squishies on Olympia's team. Especially with an assassin running around fed, it gets very frustrating for ADCs and for anybody who's just in general a glass cannon, because they can just, a fed assassin can just take you down.
Yeah, but that is why Varus bought Immortal Shield Bow, which, if you don't know what Immortal Shield Bow does, it does, when you get bursted down to a total of 30 HP, 30% HP, you will gain a little shield, which does allow you to survive a bit of burst from, let's say, assassins in the enemy team, which can be a huge little resource for
set R's the Akali into the Dragon Pit. A big fight just in the Dragon Pit here. But it seems that
Matter Academy did get 2 kills both on Alawi and Akali because of set R-ing onto Dragon, and they do secure Infernal Dragon, which now they have 2 Infernal Dragons, which is a lot of big buffs for them, which gives them more ability power and attack damage.
I think Matter Academy was able to turn the game around, especially with the comeback they've been making. They're patching up their gold, and they're pretty much getting closer to even on kills. I think a good team fight for Matter Academy is all it takes right now to just turn that game around, especially if they get Infernal Soul. If they get Infernal Soul, it might.
Right now, Evelyn's trying to fight for her life, but does get caught out by the Kayn. And Jax is pushing top a lot because of that Baron buff, trying to get Inhibitor, maybe even get a tower near the Nexus. But unfortunately, Alawi and Akali do respawn, which they have to back away from.
That's pretty good. He also gets the kill on that Karma, who's just been getting caught out for most of the game. She is 1-7-12, doing her job of support with those 12 assists, which is very good. That Lux is doing her hardest too, at 5, 6, and 9.
Definitely.
With Baron buff, they're looking to push lanes and just try to press the enemy team and pushing them towards their base, so they can't really leave as much, and they can just take objectives for free.
But the thing is, the one downside that might happen if they push way too much is that they might get more gold and experience from minions, which can deny Matter Academy from those resources. Because if you see on the minimap, Matter Academy bot side is still pushing up towards the enemy, which can be a bit dangerous for them. Matter Academy, Olympia Heights Akali is pushing, trying to push and doing as much damage as possible.
Yeah, she's using that shroud to just escape from that enemy site. She has true invis while she's in there, and just
Alawi is teleporting to the fight mid, trying to see if they can try to help out with
big
her
team fight for mid tower. I don't think it's worth to defend that mid tower. Looking how little health it has, they can just run in, hit twice, and anybody under the tower is as good as dead, especially with the Akali on standby.
Kayn is coming from the side, splashing on to the enemy team.
She's Zanya's time stops for that health, and she actually ends up living through the Lux R. And unfortunately, the trade goes bad for Olympia Heights, as Matter Academy gets 2 kills on the Ilawi and on the Evelyn. Akali's still alive, and that's their biggest threat, so they're still not safe 100% now, but they have a pretty big lead considering they have their strength in numbers, as they only lost 1 member, which was, I believe, Kayn.
Akali is going into fight, getting the pick on Lux, but she is shut down by the Varus. Very nice play from Matter Academy, trying to just eliminate that Akali threat.
Yeah, right now I think Varus is in the point where he's just hyper scaling to his maximum, and just getting those kills is gonna just increase the amount of scale that he gets and just become almost oppressive, almost even I would say more oppressive than an Alkali at full strength.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, Olympia Heights is just trying to stay near base, just trying to get some XP and gold from minions, which is pretty good for them, since even though they can't get as much kills right now, they can still come back from resources like the XP and experience from the minions and gold.
I believe Dragon spawning in a few minutes here. That's going to be another big team fight point, because that is soul for Matter Academy, and that Olympia Heights, it's in their best interest to just deny that soul for as long as possible, because with Infernal Soul, I think it might be like even worse for Olympia Heights, because that Varus, he's hyper skating. The Kayn is actually doing quite a bit of damage there. With Infernal, they might just be able to take out the entire team, considering they have a couple of squishies, including Evelyn, Akali, and most of the team is squishy. They don't have one, I guess you would say, bruiser, which would be Alawi. So Matter Academy doing more damage is not going to be very good.
Jax is trying to look for the Evelyn, but the Evelyn does go back to the fight, getting caught out by Set and needs to retreat because she's now very low.
Jinx didn't cancel his ult, and Set gets hit by the Set. He just walks forward, taking those shots like he's just taking bullets. With that extended health that he has,
Baron is up right now, which Matter Academy is trying to force out, because right now Olympia Heights is pretty low when it comes to health pools. So Matter Academy might just be able to secure this, unless, well, right now they're trying to pick up the Set, but that doesn't seem like a wise option right now, because they just gave Baron for free.
They do instead get Baron now, sure. And the only way to counter Baron buff at this point, when they have it, is just to kill everybody with Baron buff. That's what I like to say. I said it last time on our last game. So they're just gonna recall, get full health, maybe get some items, come back with a little bit of an item advantage, and just push in lanes. I think at this point, what Olympia might have to do is just push in their waves as much as they can, so that they don't have that lead. I think they might have to end up giving Dragon here. Kayn's trying to go for it, but
Kayn is trying to go for it, trying to get secure soul, and he's still there.
He goes in for the steal.
He does steal the dragon, allowing Matter Academy to get red buff, which is very huge for their damage.
Yeah, good smite by that Kayn. He ends up dying, but I don't think it matters, as he does get that buff and secures the buff.
Now, will they get this call? They stay. Yes, they will, securing the kill, and Set is just going in, but does die in the process.
Kayn is going to go in as well with that self-healing yes, but just
they are cleaning up everyone on Matter Academy, since they do have 3 left. But Jax is split pushing top, trying to end the game at this point.
Yeah, Jax is a split pushing god. He was just staying there while they were doing all that team fighting shenanigans. He doesn't need to team fight. He's just going to push in that tower and get those Nexus towers. He might even end game here. He's just tanky as hell. He's going to just take both Nexus towers and just try to go for the Nexus itself. Can he get the Nexus? No, he does not, unfortunately. Wow, that is insane play by Matter Academy's Jax, which is running up there and getting all of that, all those towers and stuff. This is a pretty bad position for Olympia Heights, considering that, you know, they have a kill lead, but their gold lead, they have actually a gold deficit on Matter Academy, I would say.
Yeah, that's because of main stuff like objectives and other stuff like towers, which does spread the gold to everyone. Because right now, Matter Academy has four tower lead, because Matter Academy has secured 8 towers, while Olympia Heights has only secured 4.
Yeah, this was looking like skewed towards Olympia's side in the early game with that, you know, Akali just having all of those kills. She's still 17, 8, and 5, doing a lot of kills. That's almost more than half of her team's kills, but it's not really as good as it was early anymore. Matter Academy's team has just scaled up. The VAR scaled up. You know, the Kayn has been doing good too. Set has just been a monster right now with all that health and all that damage just going in. I think right now they just need to play a little bit more of defense, because those super minions are going to keep coming and just oppressing them. Super minions, if you guys don't know, is the final form of minions. Once you take down an inhibitor, super minions will spawn in that lane, and super minions are a force to be reckoned with.
They are very tanky and do a lot of damage to a tower specifically.
And to champions too. Some squishy champs have trouble taking down those super minions. And with Baron buff, they're just a nightmare to deal with, especially if they're all in clusters, because they will just take down anything that is near them.
Yeah, especially. Oh wait, Jax is trying to end the game right now.
He's just
trying
running
to
into the enemy spawn.
Will he actually get this? I'll be
No, he will
surprised.
not.
No,
He
he
gets
won't.
ignited.
Seth is also there, just trying to end the game as fast as possible, but unfortunately, both of them die.
To the Jin.
And oh no, Varys does die also, giving a shout out to Akali. Will Olympia Heights be able to just push into enemy base right, enemy base right now, and just try to end the game?
Yeah, right now I think that was a bad play by Matter Academy going in separately like that. Maybe if it was a team fight first and could have gotten a pick, but just running in there, both Set and Jax really did nothing for them. Now they're just gonna group up and go down mid and hopefully get like 2 or 3 towers, maybe even an inhib and the Nexus tower.
They might be able to secure Nexus here because right now it's four of them against the measly 2.
Although the King can do a lot of damage and maybe execute one of them.
Wait a minute, that Karma is looking pretty low, and that
yeah, that King is cooking up. He got hit by the charm, but it didn't actually follow through. He's gonna actually go chase the Evelyn through jungle. Could he catch up to the Evelyn? I don't think I think he might just let her go and just go and help his teammates out instead.
Especially since Evelyn has that part of that blue fox partner, which does give her speed in bushes.
Yeah, I don't think he was gonna be able to catch up to him, and he knows that she's just gonna keep, dodging his attacks and just go invis at one point. So he just goes and he goes back to the bot lane. And
right now, Mad Academy is just trying to look for a full-on ARAM on mid right now, trying to see if they can try to see if they can secure mid tower and inhib.
While Kane is actually pushing the bot lane, so if anything, they can just take bot lane. Jax goes in for the kill on the Evelyn, dashes into her, and actually ends up getting the kill and escaping with his life. Now they have to go and do something about that Kane before he takes a tower.
Which mostly they will be able to secure, knowing how defensive they are, Olympia Heights are playing.
It's a pretty vulnerable spot for Olympia Heights, because if let's say an objective pops up like Elder, which is gonna pop up in a bit, or even Baron, they can't like leave tower leave Nexus by itself because it will get taken down by minions.
And Jax, especially seeing how he is playing, he is trying to just split push when there's objective, trying to stall out, trying to see if they can he can force an opening.
Yeah, force a reaction on Olympia's side, because they either stop the Jax from winning the game, or they stop the objective from happening. Usually you want to stop the game from ending in general.
Here's the thing, Jax is trying to hide in the bush, but Olympia Heights do know he's in there because of that ward. And unfortunately, he does not have a control ward.
I think he figured it out in a second. He's just gonna go help let his team take Baron again. This is one of those moments where it's just he's gonna have to force a reaction because they're taking Baron, but they don't even know.
Right now, Olympia is playing very defensive, just trying to get the pick on Jax. So he is able to stun everyone on Olympia's play. He is killed by the Alawi, and right now, a very important objective in the game is happening, which is what type of dragon is that?
Elder Dragon just happened. It's gonna spawn in a couple seconds. Actually, it just spawned as a matter of fact. Matter Academy did take Baron. Using that split push power that had that Jax forcer reaction, they were just able to take it without any mishaps. Right now, it's just getting a pick and going for actually just they can end the game here, especially since the
big damage from Set and Alawi does die, and the Evelyn. They might be able to just close out the game right here.
Yes, as the only people alive right now are the bot lane duo, and against the full team, they can't really do much. So they're just gonna dive him under tower and get that mid tower. This might be GG's for.
Kane is trying to tower both the Karma and Jin, but the thing about Karma is that she is able to get a lot of shield to allies. And here's the thing: they might be able to just end the game right here, getting the pick on Karma and destroying the Nexus.
Yeah, this is GG's again. So right now, the game is tied 1-1. Final score 33-38 with Matter Academy having 32 kills and 4 dragons, while Olympia had 38 kills and 1 dragon. Really wasn't an objective-based game there for Olympia. I think that's what kind of messed them up, because Matter Academy was focusing on those objectives hard. They got Baron almost 3 times in one game, and they got Dragon, Soul, and they had an early Dragon advantage. So I think that Kane did good with, even though the Akali was an early game meta, just playing it out for the late game. and scaling. I think Red King did actually come in clutch there.
Yeah, especially for the late game since
Akali's still having the most damage in the game though, with 49k damage. That is insane. Just for an assassin in general, she wasn't as powerful late game, but she was still putting in her weight with that damage.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since that one thing that we saw from the Red King pick during that fight is that I say Red King does scale harder in the late game than a Blue King. Because the thing about Red King is that he is able to just build a lot of items and become just very tanky and impressive with a lot of life steal. While Blue King is more of one tapping everyone on, not everyone on the enemy team, but picking off people for that are vulnerable. Like let's say Squishy Champ is like such as the Jin and the Karma. So even if they had that additional damage resource, they might have still won with the Blue King pick, even though they decided to go Red King.
That would be interesting if they went Blue King instead. Maybe they would have lost, or maybe they would have won quicker. I don't really know. That's more of a hypothetical situation. Now that top lane matchup was interesting. Jax versus Alawi. They did switch lanes eventually, where Akali went top against the Jax, and Set went mid against the Alawi, which was very favorable towards the Alawi. But I don't think it played off in the end, because that Set was a menace. Especially late game with all that health, and just he was going in for that damage. That R is very powerful diving tool. Just being able just to launch somebody into the air and slam him back down, gain full amount of stacks of his grit. If you guys don't know, his grit makes him like super tanky because he can hit his W, and what that gives him is a bunch of shield that eventually will decay, but that shield lasts for quite a bit of time. So you can pretty much like live from death. I've seen people like with pixel health just pop W, gain a big shield, and kill the entire enemy team before it.
Especially since if Set hits you on the center of his W, it does true damage, which that means what true damage means that it'll do damage even though it'll do the same amount of damage even though they have a lot of armor. So it's very good against stuff like bruisers and tanks because it'll just burst their health down to a measly to a little bit.
Yeah, so just aiming that R is very crucial for that Set, and that's what he was doing. He was essentially like doing really good dives with this R, getting that damage and just going out. That was a pretty good.
Also using his W for a big burst and big shield.
That Evelyn tried to scale, but I don't think she was able to outscale that Kayn in the end. She was the charm did come in handy a couple times, but I think her kit is just a little bit still. I guess you would say like weak from but like before they buffed her, where in terms of like if you don't get your hits off, it's just kind of annoying for her. Annoying for you. The Invis though is very powerful, just allowing those ganks, and it's very annoying to play against because control wards cost money, unlike normal wards. So it's only 75 gold, but it's still nobody really wants to waste 75 gold on something that's not gonna help you do more damage. It's just gonna protect you.
Also, another thing from a while happened during the second game for Olympia Heights is that they had a lot of stuff that did not scale that well into the late game, even though they had a bunch of kills. Like, for example, the Evelyn and the Akali. Even though Akali had a bunch of kills during that game, she did fall off. She did slowly but surely fall off, which did lead into them losing a lot of damage during the game.
Yeah, assassins usually don't scale like super into the end game. It's more of like in terms of mid lane where the mages come in, like Victor, Veigar, the brand new Asol, which we saw last game with that horrifyingly powerful Asol gameplay, which was very interesting to watch. It's more of like they're good early game, and then later on in the game, even with a lot of kills, they had full build. The Kali had full build, but if everybody else gets full build, you're no longer like special anymore. Yeah, you get full build, but if everybody else also has full build, you're not as powerful as they are with full build, especially if they're a late game scaling champ, where they already have a lot of scaling potential with their abilities. It's still like not as good as, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that Jax actually did play pretty good. He did some interesting dives with his W, especially like just in the game in general. He was really crazy with those, but I think they paid off in the long term. He was able to get some pretty crazy kills. Now moving on to game 3, this is going to be a very high tension game because if they're equal now, and just winning one game is really all it takes for either team to win. So they're going to have to bring out their best champs. They're going to have to bring out their best strats because, whoever wins this one is taking home the trophy, and losers taking home the
Well, not
L.
really a trophy, but is ending up with the win for this game as a whole, which
I was saying the
is
trophy like metamorphically. Doesn't
yeah.
mean
I
they're
know
gonna
you're
take the
saying mid
win.
trophy metamorphically, but let's be honest, it's not really that trophy right now, at least.
Um, a big thing in that game was scaling. Scaling is very important. I love scaling champs. Oh my god, I love scaling champs. I tried to play early game champs in that game in League of Legends, and it's not very fun for me as like late game scaling because like you really feel the power of a late game champ, and I think early game champs really rely on the skill of the player compared to some of the late game champs.
Yeah, that's definitely a true statement from what
Now
you just said.
here's the $1 billion predicament, right? Do you think they're gonna go? That Matter Academy is gonna go set mid for game three? It didn't work out as good in the first game, but it worked out very well in the second game. So let's
Yeah.
see.
I'm hoping that set does not go. That the mid laner in Matter Academy does not go set again because it's becoming a bit more predictable that he will go set every single time, which does lead into a lot of problems from, let's say, from a research standpoint. Because let's say if Matter Academy is keeps on using that set mid without changing it from time to time, it won't really end up very well for Matter Academy mid lane specifically because it'll get very much predictable and they could build a comp around that.
Yeah, especially if like they just counter pick mid set. There's not much they can do, especially if it's the only champion he knows how to play. Hopefully, he will know how to play against his counters, though. That's what I would expect from a player who is only like playing one champion. You better know your counters well and well enough to where they're still a counter, yes, but they're not as big of a counter as they would be if you didn't. Hmm.
Right now we are in champ select for both Matter Academy and Olympia Heights, which well, we cannot see right now, so there's a bit of technical difficulties. But
Game three will hopefully be way more exciting than the game one and two, because usually that's where the tensions are high. Every team fight counts because you really want to win that game. So maybe I think Matter Academy might pull out the late game scaling champs again, and hopefully go for the late game scale. And maybe so will Olympia Heights. What do you think that the team comp is gonna be looking like for both teams here?
I hope that right now for Matter Academy, their last comp did work out for them, but they do have to figure out another comp for this game, or not. It will become predictable, and Olympia Heights will be able to play around that comp again.
Do you think that the jungler for Matter Academy is gonna go Kane pick again? Because Kane pick was a very good pick for game two. I think they might be able to go game three again.
We will take a quick break. We will be right back with the game.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
30
We are here
seconds
in
until
action.
minions spawn.
As you saw from that start, the matchup is very interesting. We got a Trundle jungle and an Amumu support this game.
Oh, right now, Olympia Heights is trying to invade the Matter Academy jungle, which could have been a big lead for them if they managed to get a kill. But unfortunately, Lulu did flash away in order to avoid getting CC'd, in order to probably be eventually picked off.
Minions have
It's a very good
spawned.
play by Lulu.
So yeah, we are
in game 3 right now, and Matter Academy is on the red side this time, and Olympia Heights is on blue side.
And right now the matchup for jungle is Trundle versus Warwick. Interesting for this game. I haven't seen a Trundle jungle in a minute. I used to have a friend that played Trundle jungle. He was actually really good at it, but it hasn't been in meta for a bit. Maybe we might see a really interesting game. This is an Azir mid. Azir is a very, very fun champ to play. He has those soldiers, and he can rebuild the tower when it goes down for a couple seconds. It'll do same tower damage. It's actually pretty crazy.
Also, I want to say something about the bot matchup. I feel like the bot matchup is very good for Matter Academy. Because the thing about that is, because their bot is that they have both a Nyla and a Lulu. Which, if you don't know about Nyla, is that whenever she kills a minion, she gains additional both her and her support gain additional EXP from killing them. Which gives them level advantages during the early game. Which
Yone EQs on this Azir, trying to get some damage for that positive trade. The Yone actually switched, he was the set jungle or set mid from last game, and so he ended up switching from set, and he played Yone instead. Actually doing a little bit better with Yone trying to get those trades.
Ooh,
and
unfortunately, in bot lane, Trundle did do a level 2 gank on bot lane. But the thing is, he did get a pick on Lulu because she had no flash. But Nyla was able to get a kill on the Trundle, leaving on a positive note for bot lane.
Big fight mid there. Two big trades by Yone and Azir. Now Yone would have gotten that kill if he didn't miss that Q, but since he missed that Q, I think Azir was able to get away with his life and is still alive. Oh wow! Unfortunate for that Nyla, she gets hit by that Amumu Q, and it just wraps her. Samira is able just to dash back right onto her and just get the kill. Samira is a pretty big champ. You don't want the skill. She's a very big lane bully, and I think right now it's just a big power struggle between the Samira and the Nyla. Fight mid as
right now Warwick is trying to defend Yone with his life because he takes so HP right, and Warwick is fighting the Trundle right now, which I think the Warwick will win, but unfortunately the community is walking up towards the Warwick, which will make him back off.
Just a fairly big trade there. Both Yone and Trundle didn't die, although Warwick couldn't get in that Trundle. Warwick is one of those characters that you don't really want to go against in the jungle for the
especially
first couple
in a
levels.
1v1 scenario.
And he's very powerful in 1v1s. Where he kind of lacks power is his group fight potential. But in terms of jungle 1v1s, especially against a Trundle, Trundle's very good 1v1er, but not as good as a Warwick.
Yeah, especially since Warwick has his passive. Which is passive, the more lower of health he is, the more he's able to lifesteal through his abilities.
And the more lower health the opponent is, the more movement speed he has towards them. So
and more attack speed when he is attacking them. So if they are both standing still, he is going to gain a total of 30% attack speed from just them being of the low.
Yeah, that's going to force him pretty much a win for that 1v1 because he just has better stats than you at that point. Although Trundle can slow him down with the ice area and with the cube, even kind of CC him away from him.
Right now, Olympia Heights is trying to set up a gank on top side because there's no wards. But Olympia Heights is trying to figure out if they can do this gank, but they failed miserably, not getting the kill on.
Yeah, Trundle didn't hit the iceberg on the actual Ornn, and Ornn was just able to dash away with the move that he gets from his Q. There's still Trundle's still waiting, hoping to get a gank against
Orne is trying to get a pick on Camille, but Trundle was waiting for that error to happen and resulting on a kill for Olympia Heights, which is very big.
Camille's another legend you don't want really to scale as well. They got a lot of legend or champs, sorry, inside their team comp. At least Olympia does. Where if they scale, it's gonna be potentially disastrous for Matter Academy,
Especially the Azir pick, because Azir is not really known for his early game, but where he lacks in early game, he is very good in the late game. They're able to establish a lot of team fight pressure, especially poke damage with his soldiers.
Yeah, the only hope that Matter Academy has late game is Nyla and Yone. Yone is a late game monster as well. She's being able to do a lot of damage because you know, Camille, she scales heavily as well. Work doesn't scale as
right now,
much.
though, right now in mid lane, Azir did get the kill on Yone, already showing up a lead on them on mid lane, which is pretty huge to think about, knowing how vulnerable he is. Will Orne get his kill on? Oh, unfortunately, Camille survived on 1 HP.
That must be infuriating for that Ornn. I've been there before. It is annoying, especially when the Camille survives that little health. Camille has a lot of mobility for a top laner. You know, tanks usually don't have.
Warwick is trying to get the kill on Camille, but it does get away. He's tower diving, but he's going to die. Oh, he got R just in time to leap away.
I don't know about that. That Arius, it did save his life, and he doesn't have a bounty per se. He has 2 kills and 0 deaths, though.
Yeah, but it is stopping the Camille from getting an additional kill, which is pretty big.
Yeah, especially when she's 2-1. That would have been her 3rd and 1st kill. Or sorry, 3rd and 0 deaths. That would have put a bounty on her for sure. You know, the matchup bot lane. I think this Nyla has a lot more CS than this the Samir. Trying to get a gank on bot lane, trying to force.
Right now they're trying to. They do not know that Trundle is right there, so they will be able to get the Lulu pick.
It's not like she's gonna play it smart. She's gonna try to dash away. Yeah, she's not gonna let them get any leeway on her. Yone did appear there for a second, but there wasn't really much he can do. He can't 1v3 like that just yet. Later on, when he gets more of his more powerful items and he's scaling way above everybody else, he might be able to. Yeah. This is he was putting up a good fight there, though. He kind of punished Yone for leaving down.
Also, another thing that I want to mention is that even though Nyla and Lulu might be a good combo, Mamumu and Samira have a lot of CC on their lane, especially since Samira is able to extend CC whenever someone is stunned or rooted.
Yeah, being able to send that CC is going to be pretty much how bot lane is going to have to win that matchup. This Camille is just bullying this Ornn, using her warm mobility just to go in for those trades when he's pushed up for a little bit too far. And
also, this Ornn CS, 25 CS at this point in the game, 10 minutes is pretty substantial for knowing that the more less gold he gets, the less items he's going to be able to buy, especially since Ornn is all about buying items, since he has a passive that the more items that he bought, his items are sort of boosted up and gain more armor and more health.
Yeah, so he's able to scaling with items higher than any other champ. Getting gold is really important for Ornn, and not CSing is one of the worst things you can do.
And unfortunately, Yone is topside with him, which is stealing a bit of gold from him.
A lot of people are topside right now as Trundle's over there in Tribush, clearing wards and just doing some ward work. Down at bot lane, since there's nobody there, they're gonna push in that tower. Hopefully get one plate of tower gold, which is gonna be pretty big for Samir, because Samir does scale up items as well, just like any other ADC. Samir is more of a if you're losing hard, or if you're winning hard champ. She's one of those where
he's a 50-50 type of character.
Yeah, because if you do bad with Samir, you're gonna feel horrible. She's not gonna go do as much, but when you're doing good, you feel invincible. Yone and Ornn seem to have switched lanes. Ornn going mid lane.
Like Camille's trying to get the pick on Yone by Ari onto her.
She does get the kill on the Yone. Ended up R'ing him so he doesn't get away and just ends up cleaning up the kill. That's gonna create a pretty big level and power disadvantage for the Yone when he goes back top lane. This might have been a kind of interesting switch, especially since it happened here. I think Yone's best interest is just to CS and hopefully catch up to the point where that Camille is, so they can 1v1 on their terms. Same with this Azir. This Azir is just doing a bunch of damage to this Ornn. Ornn can't really get close considering Azir's he can just summon those warriors to just attack them or attack the Ornn when he gets too close. Now Azir's ult, that wall is gonna come in handy for those ganks, especially when it comes for like Trundle and the Warwick. You can just wall the Warwick off from ulting, by the way, which is pretty funny. I've seen that happen. Warwick is actually coming up towards mid. They're gonna R onto the Trundle.
He does miss the R,
but he leaves just in time
and
Trundle gets exhausted, so he can't move. They're gonna go down and do Dragon. This is pretty big for them. Azir's gonna try to follow, hopefully do something. I don't think he can. Oh, Amumu goes in for the QR. Stuns the entire enemy team. This is a big team fight here. Azir does get the kill on the Lulu, and Samira does end up getting the kill on the Ward. They're gonna go for the Nyla. Nyla does get killed by the Samira. This is a great team fight for Matter Academy. They actually just won that team fight completely. Now they can take Dragon without any risks, considering all of Olympia's team is dead except for the Yone, who is 0-2, so he doesn't really pose a threat when it comes to both of them right now.
Right now on the scoreboard, Olympia Heights do have 12 kills on Matter Academy, and Matter Academy only has a mini-series 4, which can lead to a problem because they have a lot of gold on their disposal to use, which can lead to a lot of problems during the late game.
If you just look at the scoreboard, like Matter Academy, or at least Olympia, is doing a lot better in terms of the kills. If you see that they all have bounties almost. The only one who doesn't have a bounty is the Trundle, but he's doing his best. He's 0, 2, and 6, doing his job as a jungler and just assisting his teammates, even though he's not getting the kills.
Even so, he's still doing a bunch of damage.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of damage and just assisting his, like extending the lead for his teammates by a lot. They all have bounties and they all have, I mean, almost less than 1 kill, with some of them having 0. There are 1 death, sorry. The score right now is 13-4 with Matter Academy having 4 kills and Olympia having 13. This is another one of those situations where Olympia starts off with a lot of kills on the team, but I think Matter Academy can bring it back like they did with Game 2 if they just play a little bit towards the long game. That Warwick really does have to start catching up, because Warwick, unfortunately, towards the end of the game, isn't as strong as he is early. Because the only thing he has is that CC, and the CC isn't that good, especially when he doesn't do as much damage. His healing does get pretty powerful, though. He can outheal a lot of things. Ornn misses the R on the Camille, and it's just going to die to the Camille. The Camille has way too much ability. It's just able to stay on top of him. So there's nothing they can really do now, especially with nobody coming to help. He can try to stun her, but she ends up getting the kill. That's pretty big for the Camille. The Camille right now is 8-1 with a 600 gold bounty.
This is huge.
Now, all it really takes is Matter Academy to get like just 1 good team fight and claim all those bounties for them to hopefully make a comeback. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen soon, as there's no objectives really up right now.
Matter Academy knows that the Azir is right there. They might be able to pick off the Azir, but unfortunately for Matter Academy, he uses R to push him away from him. And they might be. Oh, they just got a huge. Olympia Heights just got a huge lead on team fight on them, allowing Samir to get a double kill, and Azir getting a single kill from that. That is very bad for Matter Academy. Now they're way much more behind in terms of gold. Oh wait, Samira does die under turn, but it's not really that. It's not really beneficial for Matter Academy because they don't get anything from that because no one hit her while she was under tower, so they don't get the kill from the Nyla. Wait, Samira. Right now, as of now, Olympia Heights has gone in 2 towers, and Matter Academy has gone 0.
Yeah, it's pretty bad for Matter Academy considering that towers are really the main focus of the game. So not being able to get towers, especially this early, is going to put a lot of pressure on them because they can't push up as much as they want to when it comes to taking a fight. They can't, bot lane can't extend as much as they want because if somebody comes up from behind them, they can't just go into tower and then they have to run all the way back to the second tower.
Yeah, which is pretty unfortunate. So right now, oh, Olympia Heights still trying. Olympia Heights has such a big lead. 19 and 4.
That's pretty crazy. I think this might not be a case where Matter Academy can come back from. Let's see, because they don't have a high scaling team like they did last time. All they have right now is just like a really early game team that's not doing as well as early game. Right now, their biggest hope is that Nyla and that Yone.
Yeah, especially since Warwick not really skilled that well in late game. So even if he got a bunch of kills during the early game, he wouldn't really. With Olympia Heights' comp, he really would be falling short on everything that would be happening. Camille is trying to look for a kill on the Nyla, but she is exhausted, which might allow her. Oh, and they'll get the kill on the Camille. While Azir get the kill on Warren on top side. They're trying to get mid tower now, but they are taking a lot of shots from. So they did not get the tower in the end, and they all are pretty low. So some Warwick Mark is on them, which gives him bonus movement speed if he runs towards them. Olympia Heights trying to look for a CC on. Oh, it is a big fight for Matter Academy, able to get all that type of CC on them. But unfortunately, they do get traded off 1-1. But they do kill the Trundle in the end, which is very good. Ooh, right now, okay, so Olympia Heights did get the tower in mid lane, which does leave Matter Academy open to a lot of situations that could happen. Ooh, and okay, so Olympia Heights still are very low at this point, and Warwick might chase them down to try to kill them, but unfortunately, well, right now for Olympia, the Olympians are very low, so they can retreat, leading Matter Academy to get a bunch of advantage from right now. But Camille is going in, trying to look for just anything at this point to try to get a kill.
Yeah, Camille ults here. She's gonna go after the Nyla, but the Nyla has that W, which just blocks all that damage, just like the most annoying ability that Nyla has.
Now will Warwick win this 1v1? It seems like he will. Oh, and they're a pick, man. They were so low, but Chondo was hiding the bush because so Warwick couldn't see him.
Actually, I think they had a ward there, and we're actually able to see. Blue team was able to see that ward, but that was Trundle's team actually. So Warwick wasn't able to see, but just Trundle had that extended range that you could hit that basic attack on the Trundle.
Especially because he has the rune called Lethal Tempo. Because the thing about Lethal Tempo is that the more you auto attack someone with Lethal Tempo, the more attack speed you will gain. And once you reach 6 stacks with the tempo, you get extended range on your auto attacks.
Yeah, so you was able to get that auto attack far away and just kill that ward. They're gonna rift. Yeah, they're gonna rift down mid there, get at least one tower there.
Yone trying to go in to see if he can get a kill, but almost dies in the process by getting bursted down. Olympia Heights is looking for a big play, getting a pick on Warwick, potentially tower diving, but that will not work in their favor, since they are pretty low, and the tower is doing much more damage.
The situation is looking very, very good for Matter Academy.
The Camille is trying to die onto the Nyla, but unfortunately failed on that. And Azir launches everyone back, making them go over the wall from their base, getting a double kill.
Great play by Olympia.
Now they might be able to just get this turret, and this inhib. They might be able to end this game.
They might be able to win the game, actually. All they have to do is just take... actually, no, they take inhib. They're going to be smart. They're going to back off. That inhib is going to cause as much pressure as they can. Look at all the gold that they just have lying around. That Camille is, at this point, very, very powerful, very oppressive. And she can 1v1 most of the team by herself.
Well, Mumu is trying to stun everyone while letting the Smear go in. Being huge, getting picked on the Nyla and the Warwick.
Double kill for
They
Samira.
might just look to push mid again.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to push mid and hopefully get some kills on the...
Oh, that was a smart play from the Camille. She used the Orange's own Q in order to create in order to wall herself towards the enemy. Oh, right. Oh, it is so big for Olympia Heights. They got so many kills from that just one push. Unfortunately, they're not able to end the game or get a tower from near Nexus. But with mid open, they have a lot of opportunities to just push.
Especially with that goal lead they have. I think,
Oh, right now, Matter County is living on aggression. He's trying to get just anything to try to come back. Unfortunately, with 11K, with 11,000 gold deficit from Matter Academy, I don't think they will be able to get this game back.
especially since they don't have any late game scaling champs, and gold is very important for late game scaling champs. And
Except for Nyla. The thing about Nyla is that she's very team reliant, especially with her passive.
work just staying on that trundle and getting that increased movement speed.
Right now, Trundle is low, so we'll gain that extra movement speed towards him. But this Trundle's playing smart. And
Emote spams on the Warwick while he's chasing him, knowing that the Warwick can't hit him because he just has the slows. That's just mean.
And now he's
cruel.
chasing because he knows that he'll be protected because of the Azir right behind him. And now Olympia Heights is trying to look for the Ornn kill. Look for the Ornn.
Getting that kill on the Warwick. That Warwick must be infuriated right now.
The Ornn tried TPing away, but he wasn't able to getting picked off
by the Azir. This is another situation. I think they're going to push top lane. Azir taking an unnecessary tower shot. They're going to push down mid. Force a reaction by the other two people. His Yone really can't do much. He just has very little damage and very little health. The Trundle's just going to go in after him.
Trundle is very tanky at this point in the game, so he is just going to do that for free. But he is going to get punished by all the CC happening right now. But Samira is doing a certain amount of damage, and Camille. But she might get picked off. No, she won't.
She gets a double kill, and Yone ends up killing the
But this time, but this moment, only Ornn and Nyla are alive at this point. So let's see what they can try to do over here.
Mumu shouldn't have provided heal for this Azir.
Oh, that's big damage from Azir. And able to pick off the Nyla. Probably trying to look for the kill on Ornn. And probably maybe ended the game right here. Yeah, getting one turn from Nexus. Will they be able to push this in time in order to okay, no they won't. They're just gonna push back at this moment. And try and not give Matter 3 kills for no reason. Well, right now, Matter Academy is not looking in a great position right now. Especially with all they're missing. Right now, Olympia Heights has 6 turrets on, have killed 6 turrets on Matter Academy's side.
Well, they only have one.
Well, they only have one.
This is very bad for Matter Academy. As Olympia's just going to take Baron. This might be end of game here with Baron buff. They're going to be nigh unstoppable, especially considering they have the huge gold lead, the huge item lead. A lot of leads, level leads, objective leads.
Camille is trying to kill that Lulu. Unfortunately, she does flash away, but it does create pressure for them.
In order to work, is going to R into the
smited.
Oh, that's unfortunate for the Work. He tried to R into the Dragon Pit.
They are putting everything onto this Camille, trying to kill her, but she is so tanky. While Azir goes in and R's on the spot where I try to kill
Nyla shouldn't have prevent the Azir from getting the kill, but ends up dying herself. Now they're just gonna run in after this Ornn. They have the Florida speed. Ornn can't really do much.
Triple on the triple on. Now a quadra kill from the Azir. Very well played.
An ace from him. This is GG's for Matter Academy. A 30-minute game. Lasted way shorter than I thought it was gonna be.
It's a 24-minute game. Very quicker than the game that we have seen today.
Normally they like to drag it out towards the end game. I don't know why Matter Academy's strat was to go for the early game play this time. It really didn't work out for them and ended up actually more of a detriment with 40-13. Now, I would like to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this really rough ride. Olympia did end up taking the cake with 2-1, the final score. It was a very rough match for both teams as they were just 1-1 for a bit there. Matter Academy losing first and Olympia winning first, and then Matter Academy actually winning second game, coming back with the late game scaling champs. Third game, unfortunately, they picked early game champions, and they didn't actually, capitalize on their ganks in early games and ended up losing. But thank you guys for watching. I have been your host, Samuel Rivera.
And I've been your co-host, Ignacio Nunez.
Thank you for watching Collegiate Esports provided by Matter TV Pro. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and follow and subscribe our YouTube. Thank you for watching.